Chapter 2289. A lady at the back left snorted coldly. Who do you think you are? How dare you compare yourself to my young master? Is your young master very famous? The little girl curled her lips, looking very disdainful. Seeing this, all the kings around were shocked and their scalps went numb. Heavens, who is this? How can she not know young master Bai Yun? How dare she provoke him? Is she tired of living? Crack. As expected, young master Bai Yun's face darkened, and he closed the folding fan in his hand. Slap her, he said coldly. Whoosh. A maid beside him flew out quickly like a bolt of white lightning. At the same time, she raised her jade-like hand and slapped forward. This maidservant was a 5-star king realm, and a single palm strike from her could shatter a mountain, let alone a single person. For a moment, everyone was worried about the little girl. However, the little girl still stood there with the corners of her mouth slightly raised, and her face was full of disdain. The terrifying palm wind tore through the void, but it could not move the little girl's clothes at all. Whoosh. The next moment the slap did not land, but the maid screamed in pain. She covered her fair palm and kept retreating. What's going on? What happened? Everyone around was stunned. They did not see the other party make a move. Could it be that the black-robed man made a move? They looked at each other. However, the next moment they were extremely shocked. That was because the maid's fair palm was now pitch black, and there were countless black chi surrounding it. It was spreading from her arm to her entire body. Poison, she's poisoned. Everyone exclaimed. It was an obvious sign of poisoning. Young Master Bai Yun frowned, and the other 3 maids were also nervous. The poison maid shouted angrily, and the spiritual power in her body burst out like waves, trying to resist the poison. However, it was useless. In an instant, her entire arm was pitch black, and it began to rot, and white bones appeared. The pain caused the maid to scream miserably. Her scream was so miserable that it made one's scalp go numb. Another maid shouted, took out a sword from her storage ring and slashed down, cutting off the blackened arm. Sizzle. Sizzle. The arm fell to the ground and all the flesh and blood were corroded, forming a black liquid. Soon even the bones were corroded. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. What a powerful poison. How did the other party do it? They didn't see it. The little girl snorted coldly. A small green snake was coiling around her earlobe. A piece of trash like you wants to slap me? He was truly courting death. Everyone was shocked speechless, because they realized that this little girl was simply too strange. However, some of the higher-ups could tell that it was the venomous snake on the little girl's ear that had attacked. This little girl was most likely a beast tamer, they guessed. However, no one spoke. They didn't want to provoke such a terrifying existence. At the front, young Master Bai Yun frowned. Once he made a move, one of his maidservants would chop off an arm. This was definitely a slap to his face. Therefore he snorted and killed her. Yes. The injured maidservant retreated and quickly swallowed a pill. The other 3 unsheathed their swords and worked together to attack. The 3 swords were very fast. In an instant, they had arrived in front of the little girl and were about to pierce through her. The little girl sneered disdainfully. She snorted lightly and a majestic force rushed out of her body. Her king's domain instantly rushed out. Boom. It was a green snake. It suddenly enlarged and directly broke all 3 swords. The huge force sent the 3 maidservants flying. This scene shocked the surrounding people once again. They didn't expect that this little girl was not only good at using poison, but she was also so powerful. The king's domain was obviously very terrifying. In an instant, it sent all 3 5-star kings flying. It seemed that she was at least a 6-star king. However, an 11 or 12-year-old 6-star king. Her talent was too terrifying. Could it be that she was an old demon who had lived for hundreds of years? They guessed. On the other hand, young Master Bai Yun's face was completely gloomy. Little girl, get over here and kneel down and I can spare your life. His voice was cold and carried a biting cold killing intent. Young Master Bai Yun? In my opinion he's just SOSO. The little girl had gained the upper hand with one move. Then she activated her king's domain and charged forward. Boom. The king's domain formed a green snake and charged forward. Boom. This green snake was very huge. It crushed the void but no energy leaked out. Other than the space near young Master Bai Yun cracked, the other places were not damaged. Not even a table was damaged. One could imagine how precise the other party's control of power was. She was courting death. Young Master Bai Yun was furious. The other party was just a little girl. How dare she attack him? The next moment he waved his sleeve. With a boom, the sky cracked open and a huge sleeve danced in the sky. It was as if could devour everything. Flowing cloud sleeve. This was the white cloud family's ultimate technique. Many people exclaimed because this flowing cloud sleeve could be said to be extremely terrifying. Boom. As expected, when the flowing cloud sleeve collided with the green snake, a deafening sound was heard. Many kings fell to the ground, their bodies trembling. The green snake wailed and was sent flying. Puff, puff, puff. The little girl kept retreating until she was outside the door. Then she spat out a mouthful of blood. She wiped the blood with her small hands. Her eyes were abnormally cold. You're overestimating yourself. How dare you attack me? Young Master Bai Yun sneered in disdain. The flowing cloud sleeve in the sky attacked again. It was like a sharp heavenly blade that wanted to split the little girl in half. The little girl's expression was cold. Her hands quickly formed a seal. A green snake had burst out from her palm and bit forward. Crack. 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 The python bit the flowing cloud sleeve in the sky and made a clanging sound. However, the flowing cloud sleeve shook and shattered the python head. The little girl spat out another mouthful of blood. She was about to be enveloped by the flowing cloud sleeve. However, at this moment, the mysterious man in a black robe attacked. To be exact, he didn't attack. Instead, he coughed twice. Cough, cough, boom. In the sky, the flowing cloud sleeve exploded and turned into countless rays of light that scattered on the ground. Gulp, gulp. The surrounding people swallowed their saliva. This man in a black robe was too terrifying. He could shatter young Master Bai Yun's superpower with just a sound wave? Who was this person? Young Master Bai Yun's pupils shrank. His eyes shone brightly. This move of his was something that even an almighty wouldn't dare to take lightly. However, the other party had broken it. He couldn't believe it. Who are you? Young Master Bai Yun didn't attack again. Instead, he asked coldly. Chapter 2290. Even a powerful being would not dare to block his attack, but the other party had broken through it. He could not believe it. Who are you? Young Master Bai Yun did not attack again. Instead, he asked coldly. Cough, cough. The black-robed woman coughed twice and said again. I'm just a villager. You won't know me even if I tell you. However, I've been walking for a day and I'm tired. Young Master, why don't you give me your room? I'll pay you back double the room fee. Hearing that, everyone was shocked. It seemed that the mysterious person really wanted young Master Bai Yun's courtyard. Young Master Bai Yun's face darkened and he sneered. Old monster, you're courting death. As he spoke, he attacked again. Flowing cloud sleeve poured down, and a ray of light descended like a heavenly blade. The void instantly split open, and the terrifying crack enveloped the black-robed woman. How terrifying! Was this the true power of the flowing cloud cultivator? When everyone saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. Because the power this time was twice as strong as before. It seemed that young Master Bai Yun had not used his full strength before. The black-robed woman snorted. The walking stick in her hand shook slightly and suddenly, a black ripple spread out like a ripple. The black ripple danced and formed a black light screen, blocking in front of her. Buzz. It blocked the terrifying flowing cloud sleeve. Boom, boom, boom. The two collided and there was a loud boom. The entire world was shaking. Countless runes lit up in the Sky Treasure Pavilion, protecting all the buildings. The lady boss frowned. Her eyes flickered, but she had no intention to stop it. Seeing that the other party could block the flowing cloud sleeve, young Master Bai Yun's face darkened. However, he soon burst out with a bright light. The fan in his hand seemed to have turned into a mountain, and it pressed down. Even the surrounding powerful beings could feel the pressure from this attack. Clearly, this was an extremely terrifying attack that contained an unparalleled amount of power. Boom, boom, boom. The mysterious black-robed woman did not raise her head. However, a spatial crack appeared behind her. It grew bigger and bigger as if it was torn apart by a pair of big hands. Then, a ferocious behemoth poked its head out from the crack. It looked like a butterfly with a horn that was covered with Tao runes. It was terrifying. It did not fully appear. Only a head appeared, but it filled up the entire space in the hall. Everyone was trembling, and the weaker ones were directly pressed to the ground, unable to resist at all. That was because the oppressive might was simply too terrifying. Soon, the horn blocked the huge folding fan in the sky. Not only that, countless black bugs appeared on the ground and flew towards young Master Bai Yun. These black bugs were very fast and covered the entire ground in an instant. It seemed to be able to devour everything. Young Master Bai Yun's face sank. With a wave of his hand, a terrifying light wave flew out and blocked the insects. At the same time, his expression became extremely ugly. Nanjiang. You're from the southern border's Five Poison sect. What? Five Poison sect? Hearing this, the surrounding people also exclaimed. The southern border was a continent that coexisted with the central continent. They were very far apart. How could someone from the southern border come here? They could not understand. Young Master Bai Yun's face turned ugly. No wonder. No wonder the other party dared to disrespect him and even attack him. It turned out that the other party was not from the Ninely dynasty. In fact, they were not even from the central continent. The 11 or 12-year-old girl swallowed a few pills to suppress her injuries and walked over. She stood beside the black-robed man and snorted coldly. What? You know who we are and you still don't want to give up the room? Young Master Bai Yun snorted coldly. So what if you're from the Five Poison sect? This is the Ninely dynasty of the central continent. It's my territory. Could it be that I'm afraid of them? These are the 5 poison bugs. Once touched, even an almighty will definitely die. You still dare to go against us? The girl sneered. The bugs on the ground were about to erupt again. At this moment, a clear voice sounded from outside. Ba. The voice was loud and clear, bringing with it the aura of light between heaven and earth. Then a ball of golden light shone in from the outside like the sun. The terrifying poisonous bugs on the ground quickly retreated and melted like snow. The surrounding people were shocked. Who was this expert? How could he be so powerful? He destroyed the poisonous bugs of the 5 Poison sect in an instant. Who is this? How dare you interfere with the matters of the 5 Poison sect? The girl snorted coldly and her expression was very ugly. The black-robed man did not say anything, but the terrifying aura on his body became even more serious. Young Master Bai Yun heaved a sigh of relief. His gaze was uncertain as he looked forward. He was not the only one. Everyone turned their heads to look. A monk walked in from outside the door. He wore a kasaya and held a bowl in his hand that was covered with runes. He held a string of Buddhist prayer beads in his left hand. At this moment he was chanting and walking towards the heavenly treasure pavilion. A monk? Seeing this scene, the girl frowned and even took 2 steps back subconsciously. That was because the Buddhist light on the other party's body made her feel uncomfortable. Their 5 Poison sect was a poisonous creature of extreme and evil. On the other hand, the other party clearly had a masculine aura. The two of them countered each other and the other party was very strong. Therefore, the girl from the 5 Poison sect was very uncomfortable. However, the black-robed man did not change at all. He still stood there and did not even turn his head. Why did the people of the 5 Poison sect come all the way to the central continent? After the monk entered, he asked in a deep voice. The girl snorted coldly. Aren't you also from the western desert? Why did you come to the central continent? This monk has traveled the world and considers the world as his home. Why can't I come? After saying that, the monk ignored the people of the 5 Poison sect and stared at young Master Bai Yun. I saved your life earlier. Are you going to give me your room? What? Another person who came to snatch the place? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. Young Master Bai Yun's face darkened again. He originally thought that the crisis was resolved. Unexpectedly, another one came. Furthermore, this person targeted him again. Damn it! Did they really think that he was easy to bully? Thinking of this, he roared furiously and a terrifying aura burst forth from his body. A white cloud surrounded him, and even his entire body became hazy, as if he could ride the wind and fly away at any moment. On the other side, the black-robed man kept emitting a cold aura. The monk held the Buddhist prayer beads in his hand. His body shone with golden light like a sun. The auras of the 3 were extremely strong. Furthermore, when they clashed with each other, they formed an invisible field that made it difficult for everyone to breathe. Those who were weak fainted directly. The lady boss also frowned. Seeing that the 3 of them were about to attack again, she wanted to stop this battle. Chapter 2291. Just then, the door to the backyard suddenly opened and a figure walked in. Originally, the auras of the 3 sides had reached a balance, but because of this figure walking over, the balance was suddenly broken. Boom. The 3 forces collided in the air and a terrifying black hole appeared in the sky, spinning rapidly. Whoosh, whoosh whoosh. Everyone turned to look at the back. They wanted to see who dared to come in at this time. Did he want to die? Lin Xian also frowned because he felt something was wrong as soon as he entered the hall. Especially the black hole in front of him, which was obviously caused by a battle. Also, many kings were lying on the ground. Could there have been a great battle? But soon he shook his head. What did it have to do with him? So, he walked to the front and said in a low voice, Lady Boss, Make me some exquisite dishes and send them to East Water Courtyard. Okay, young master, please wait a moment. The lady boss smiled. Lin Xian nodded and turned to leave. Just then young master Bai Yun said coldly, "Wait." Hearing that, Lin Xian stopped in his tracks and turned around to look at the other party with a doubtful look on his face. He did not know him, so he asked, "You're looking for me?" "Yes, you." "Kid, let me ask you, which sect are you from?" Young master Bai Yun asked coldly. Because he felt that young master Bai Yun was a stranger. Those who could afford to live in the courtyard must be from a big family. For example, only people like him were qualified to live there. However, how could a stranger live there? So, he had to check his identity first. Lin Xian said lightly, "I don't belong to any sect. I'm just an itinerant cultivator." "What do you want?" "Don't belong to any sect." Everyone was shocked. The white-robed man squinted his eyes and sneered. "Don't belong to any sect? Why do you live in the water courtyard?" "Kid, give it up." Young master Bai Yun had his own plans. The western desert and southern border powerhouses wanted a place to live. He would not give it up. Why not take the kid's house and let the two powerhouses fight over it? Then he would be able to get away easily. Everyone around understood this as well, so they looked at Lin Xian with sympathy in their eyes. This kid is so unlucky. He came at the wrong time. That's right, of all times he had to come at this time. He reckoned that if he was targeted by the three great powerhouses, his end would be very miserable. As long as he cooperated obediently, he might even receive a large sum of money. Many people stood up from the ground. Lin Xian frowned. "Give up the room? Why, you want to stay?" From the looks of it, the other party was probably trying to snatch his room. However, White Cloud Prince snorted coldly. "I have my own residence." Lin Xian looked at him like he was an idiot. "You have a place to live, yet you want to snatch my house?" Was he sick in the head? He shook his head and ignored it. Then he ordered again, "Lady boss, hurry up. I'm hungry. Hurry up and send the food to Dongshui Courtyard." With that, Lin Xian turned around and left. "Brat, you're courting death." Young Master White Cloud's expression turned extremely gloomy when he saw that young Master White Cloud dared to ignore him and even reprimand him. He was the son of the great general. Who would dare to be rude to him? However, there were people provoking him one after another today. First, it was the southern border powerhouse. Then, it was the western desert powerhouse. He could not afford to offend these two mysterious powerhouses. However, this kid who had no sect and was just a rogue cultivator, dared to provoke him? That would be courting death. Bus. The next moment he attacked again. Flowing cloud sleeve spun and poured down from the sky like the Milky Way. The surrounding kings exclaimed, "Heavens, who is this brat? How dare he provoke young Master White Cloud? Does he not know who young Master White Cloud is? I think it's possible. It's over. This brat is dead meat." Flowing cloud sleeve continued to envelop Lin Xian as he spoke. Lin Xian turned around abruptly with a cold look in his eyes. This brat wanted to attack him just because of a disagreement. He even wanted to kill him? Was he that easy to kill? The next moment, a terrifying blue aura appeared on his body. Crack, crack, crack. The sea god's ice spread out and condensed in the sky, freezing flowing cloud sleeve in midair. It was so cold. The surrounding kings trembled as frost formed on their bodies. They all channeled their spiritual power to resist. Lin Xian's figure appeared in front of him. "I'll spare your life this time. If you dare to attack again, don't blame me for killing you." Lin Xian turned around and looked at young Master White Cloud with a murderous look in his eyes. Was frozen. This brat actually froze flowing cloud sleeve. Who is he? He's so powerful. The crowd was in a heated discussion. They originally thought that Lin Xian would be killed, but they did not expect him to be a powerhouse. And by the looks of it, he was a young prodigy. That was interesting. What would young Master White Cloud do? Would he fight with him or back off again? They were actually looking forward to it. Young Master White Cloud's face darkened. He was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. He even suspected that he did not check the almanac before going out today. Why did he encounter so many terrifying powerhouses one after another? It made him feel ashamed. However, it was impossible for him to retreat now. He was young Master White Cloud and this was the Ninely dynasty. If he retreated now, he would probably become a joke in less than an hour. As a young prodigy and the young master of the White Cloud General's residence, his reputation was very important. Therefore he could not retreat. However, among the three powerhouses he realized that only Lin Xian was very young. He was from the younger generation. Although Lin Xian froze his flowing cloud sleeve, he knew that if he attacked with all his might, he could kill Lin Xian. More importantly, Lin Xian did not have any powerful background. Even if he killed Lin Xian, no one would come for revenge. The four beautiful maids beside young Master White Cloud were furious when they heard Lin Xian's threat. How dare you be so rude to our young master? Lin Xian snorted coldly and glanced at them. The four of them were struck by lightning and were sent flying again while vomiting blood. Lin Xian did not leave. Instead, he stared at young Master White Cloud. He sneered. Let me guess. Why do you want to snatch my house? Looking at you, you should be the young master of a very famous family. With your identity, you should have booked a very good house here. However, there are two powerhouses who seem to have designs on your house. And you can't defeat them. Therefore, the black hole appeared when you guys were fighting. I happened to be here at this time. You think I'm a pushover, so you want to take advantage of me. Although I don't know which family you are from, your ability to bully the weak and fear the strong is really good. Lin Xian sneered. Unfortunately, I'm not someone you can provoke. So, disappear in front of me obediently. Otherwise, you'll end up in a miserable state. Arrogant. So arrogant. How dare you threaten young Master White Cloud? Chapter 2292. They realized that the young man in front of them was very smart. Not only did he figure out the whole thing, he even dared to threaten young Master Bai Yun. Who exactly was he? Was he really an itinerant cultivator? They did not believe it. They had never seen an itinerant cultivator so arrogant. Kid, you're courting death. Young Master Bai Yun was trembling with anger. His face was terrifyingly gloomy. The killing intent on his body quickly condensed and pierced through the void. However, Lin Xian ignored him. Instead, he shifted his gaze away from him and looked at the two figures at the door. One was a mysterious man in a black robe with a little girl beside him. The other was a monk with Buddhist beads in his hand. The aura on their bodies was very strong. One look and anyone could tell that they were experts. Then Lin Xian said coldly, "The two of you better not have any ideas about me. Otherwise you'll have to bear the consequences." The surrounding kings were completely stunned. This brat was simply too arrogant. First he provoked young Master Bai Yun. Now he was provoking the experts of Southern Border and Western Desert. What was he trying to do? Was he trying to declare war on everyone? The two experts were also taken aback. Then both of them laughed. Is that so? But I still think that it's better to kill you. After all, you don't have any family behind you. Killing you will not be a burden at all. Monks are not willing to kill, but I hope that you can cooperate and give up your East Water courtyard. Hearing this, young Master Bai Yun laughed. He wanted to see how this kid would deal with it. At the thought of this, his lips curled into a cold smile. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? Are the two of you going to attack me? Indeed, that was the intention. The black-robed man said in a low voice again. Whoosh. The voice condensed in the air. Before it landed, Lin Xian's figure had already disappeared. When he reappeared, he was in front of the black-robed man. The ancient sword in his hand slashed down. Boom. The black-robed man's pupils constricted and he raised his head for the first time. He realized that Lin Xian was too fast. Before he could even react, Lin Xian had already attacked. The sword had not yet arrived, but the sharp aura had already caused all the hairs on his body to stand on end. Even the black aura on his body was cut open. Whoosh. The black-robed man quickly retreated, and countless black gas formed a black light shield in front of him. Boom. The dragon source ancient sword slashed down on the surface, emitting a sky-shaking sound. Puff. A single slash. The black shield was split in half. The sharp sword light flew out once again. The black-robed old man retreated until he was completely out of the heavenly treasure pavilion. Only then did he manage to block the sword light. The mysterious man was repelled. When everyone saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. This mysterious person was extremely terrifying. Previously, when he fought with young Master Bai Yun, he did not even move an inch. But now, he was scared off by a single slash from the young man before him. This was simply too shocking. However, what shocked them even more was yet to come. This was because Lin Xian had repelled the black-robed man with a single slash of his sword. Following which, he swept his sword horizontally and slashed at the monk beside him. Since these two people wanted to make a move on him, then he had to gain the initiative by striking first and intimidate these two powerhouses. Seeing Lin Xian attack him, the Western Desert cultivator roared in anger. His eyes shone brightly as his aura suddenly erupted. A golden Buddha light rushed out from his body. Boom. In the next moment it collided with the terrifying sword chi. When the two collided, countless cracks appeared in the void as if black snakes were dancing wildly in the air. Many people retreated one after another as their hearts turned cold. The Western Desert cultivator roared and raised his palm to grab Lin Xian. Golden light flickered in his palm as if it was the palm of a Buddha. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The great dragon sword soul erupted and an even more terrifying sword chi slashed out. Clang. Another earth-shattering sound was heard. However, this time, the Western Desert cultivator's expression changed because the golden light in his hand had been cut open. Not only that, there was a sword mark on his palm that was dripping with blood. It was extremely terrifying. Damn it! How was this possible? The Western Desert cultivator was extremely shocked and could not believe it. That was because he had cultivated a very terrifying physical technique called the Vajrabhati technique. It was a powerful divine ability of the Buddhist sect. With his current cultivation and divine ability, he could fight against an upper-grade earth-rank treasure with his bare hands. But now he was actually injured. This really shocked him. What kind of sword was that in his opponent's hand? Also, how could his opponent's sword chi be so terrifying? Was he really just a young man? He did not dare to imagine. Therefore, in the next moment he also retreated out of the Sky Treasure Pavilion. Seeing that both of them had retreated, Lin Xian snorted coldly and put away the ancient dragon abyss sword. He stood with his hands behind his back and looked around disdainfully. Now who else dares to have any ideas about me? A cold voice sounded and everyone's scalps went numb. They did not even dare to raise their heads. What kind of joke was this? Two powerful cultivators had been forced back by two swords. This kind of strength was heaven-defying. Who would be so blind to provoke him at this time? That was purely courting death. What about the two of you? Lin Xian looked at the two people outside the door again. These two people's expressions were extremely unsightly. But soon after, the two of them sighed. I think young Master Bai Yun's room is better. Haha, this old woman is also very interested in young Master Bai Yun's courtyard. The two of them gave up on Lin Xian and turned their attention to young Master Bai Yun again. Because the young man in front of them was too strange. Although they did not use their full strength previously from the previous exchange of blows, the other party was very terrifying. Even if they really fought, it would only be a lose-lose situation. Moreover, they were not willing to risk their lives. Young Master Bai Yun's face instantly darkened. Originally, he wanted to watch a good show and see how the three of them would fight. If the three of them were seriously injured, he did not mind giving them a final blow at the last moment. However, the current situation was completely out of his expectations. The three of them did not fight at all. Two swords and two powerful cultivators were forced back. He could not believe it. Damn it, who is this kid? Now, even if you beat him to death, he would not believe that the other party was just a rogue cultivator. In his opinion, the other party's origin must be very mysterious. It was very likely that he was one of those peerless sacred grounds or an outstanding disciple of a peerless sect. Otherwise, the other party would not be so strong. When he heard that the two powerful cultivators had their eyes on him again, young Master Bai Yun was furious. Damn kid, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. Young Master Bai Yun's expression was ferocious as he stared at Lin Xian. It was all because of this kid that he had lost face. Therefore, he could not wait to kill this kid in front of him. Chapter 2293. His cultivation had reached the level of a 7-star king, and his combat strength was at the level of an almighty. Therefore, he did not have to worry too much about doing things. He did not mind getting rid of anyone who dared to provoke him and wanted to kill him, because he would not allow danger to sprout. Although this person looked like he was from a big family, he would not be lenient since he dared to release his killing intent. So what if he was from a big family? He even dared to kill a genius of the war tribe, let alone an ordinary family. Therefore, in the next moment, Lin Xian attacked again. Boom. The terrifying hellfire on his body turned into a black qilin, surrounded by a terrifying aura. It jumped up and charged toward young Master White Cloud. Kid, you're courting death. Young Master White Cloud was furious and his face was extremely cold. He did not expect that the other party would dare to attack and kill him. This was intolerable. Therefore, in the next moment, he let out a roar and light erupted from his body. His body became incomparably illusory, like a white cloud that would dissipate at any time. At the same time, wisps of white mist appeared around him, as if the entire hall had sunk into the clouds. Not good, retreat. When the surrounding kings saw this, they were terrified and frantically retreated. Boom. The black hellfire qilin charged forward, burning everything. However, young Master White Cloud's body had already disappeared. A ferocious voice sounded in the surroundings. Kid, you want to kill me? You're still far from it. I'll let you know my true strength. Now that you're in my white cloud realm, accept your death obediently. As the voice sounded, the surrounding white clouds suddenly rolled and pressed toward the Hellfire Qilin. Boom. The Hellfire Qilin turned into countless hellfire and scattered on the ground. More white clouds charged toward Lin Xian. At the same time, countless white clouds condensed behind Lin Xian, and young Master White Cloud's figure appeared eerily. Buzz. A green long sword appeared in his hand, and as he waved it, there was a metallic sound. Accompanying it was an intense energy that could shake the heavens. It instantly enveloped Lin Xian. Boom. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a shocking light burst out from his eyes. The Dragon Sword realm also appeared from his body and turned into the Azure Dragon Divine Shield. Clang. The terrifying long sword collided with the Azure Dragon Divine Shield, causing sparks to fly and a deafening sound to ring out. The surrounding void was torn apart. At the same time, countless runes lit up in the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion, causing the entire pavilion to shake. The lady boss's face darkened. Young Master Bai Yun also knew that he couldn't do anything here. He sneered and said, "Kit, come with me." As he spoke, the white cloud domain enveloped Lin Xian and himself, and they flew outside. The two of them finally arrived in the sky above the city. White clouds rolled above them, and two silhouettes flickered within them. Terrifying energy and vibrations could be heard from time to time. The kings of the Sky Treasure Pavilion also followed him out. They looked at the sky and discussed animatedly. The monk from the western desert and the black-robed man from the southern frontier also looked up at the sky with sparkling eyes. The two of them did not make a move. In the sky, the battle was extremely intense. The strength of the two young geniuses was extremely frightening. Especially young Master Bai Yun, who let out a furious roar as his body emitted an incomparable radiance. The surrounding white cloud ling was erratic, causing his figure to appear and disappear mysteriously. He believed that with his strength and his white jade domain, it would be very easy for him to kill the other party. Bus. As expected, with the unpredictable speed of the white cloud domain, young Master Bai Yun appeared beside Lin Xian in an instant. His right hand was hazy and illusory and white runes shone on it. Firmament palm. This palm was extremely shocking. It was clearly just a palm, but what it emitted was endless clouds that covered the entire sky. Oh no, this firmament palm was also young Master Bai Yun's ultimate skill. Now that he had used his full strength, the kid would definitely not be able to resist. Yes, young Master Bai Yun was extremely frightening. Coupled with his king domain, even the almighties of the older generation would not be his match. Below, those who were looking at the battle discussed animatedly. The eyes of the experts from the western desert and southern frontier flickered. In the clouds, Lin Xian snorted. Buzz. He pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword, and the biting cold sword light lit up the entire sky. Thousands of swords rang in unison, and countless sword chi pierced through the white cloud domain. Buzz. 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 The sky was filled with light, and a terrifying killing intent pierced through the void. Sensing this scene, all the princes below began to tremble, and their eyes were filled with fear. At this moment, Lin Xian waved his ancient sword, and thousands of sword chi accompanied the ancient sword as it slashed down. Boom. Countless sword chi instantly split open the white cloud domain, and quickly enveloped young Master Bai Yun. What? This is impossible. Young Master Bai Yun was in disbelief. His opponent actually split open his domain with a single sword strike? He broke through his firmament palm? Impossible. Even the almighties of the older generation could not do it easily, so how could his opponent do it? Young Master Bai Yun was in disbelief. However, the sword light in the sky emitted an aura that made his body tremble. Even his muscles were torn and countless wounds appeared. Damn it. Young Master Bai Yun's face changed and he did not dare to resist. He turned into countless white clouds and merged into the void, trying to escape the attack of the sword chi. However, he could not escape. At this moment, the sky was filled with sword chi and countless sword lights were extremely sharp. These sword chi contained the power of the great dragon sword soul, and it could pierce through the void and destroy the void. Therefore, even though young Master White Cloud's body movement technique was strange and unpredictable, he was still able to come and go like a ghost. But he was still injured. 73 sword wounds appeared on his body in an instant, and blood instantly dyed his body red. What? Young Master Bai Yun was injured. Down below, the kings were extremely shocked when they saw this scene. They didn't dare to believe it at all. That was young Master Bai Yun. It was incomparably terrifying. Furthermore, the other party's white cloud domain, coupled with that strange movement technique, Even if he couldn't win, it wouldn't be a problem for him to escape. But what was the situation now? Young Master White Cloud had already merged into the void, but he was still injured by someone. Moreover, it was a serious injury. They couldn't believe it. Young Master White Cloud was also screaming crazily with a hideous expression on his face. "Damn brat, you dare to hurt me? I'll kill you," he roared crazily. However, in the next moment he was sent flying. A sword chi as heavy as a mountain sent him flying. Young Master White Cloud flew out for 3,000 meters, smashing through countless voids and creating countless cracks. Only then did he stop. His injuries had become even more serious. Blood dripped down, piercing through the void, dyeing the great earth red. At this moment, not only the Sky Treasure Pavilion, but the entire Qianshan city was alarmed. Countless pairs of eyes looked up and looked forward. Then they were almost stunned. Heavens, who is that? Someone is actually fighting. Isn't that young Master White Cloud? What, young Master White Cloud? You mean young Master White Cloud from the White Cloud Mansion is here? However, how did he get injured by someone? Chapter 2294. In the sky, young Master Bai Yun's scalp went numb. He did not dare to say anything else and turned around to escape. The other party was a lunatic. Moreover, he was very powerful and was not afraid of any threat. If he stayed any longer, he would probably be killed by the other party. Therefore he escaped. Young Master Bai Yun took out elixirs from his storage ring and swallowed them to heal his injuries as he ran away like a madman. Trying to escape? Lin Xian sneered. He stood in the sky and clenched his fists. Golden Dao patterns appeared in his eyes. Buzz. A green dragon bow appeared in his hand. Buzz. An arrow flew out and drew a bright light in the sky. Then it hit young Master Bai Yun hard. Boom. There was an explosion of energy. Young Master Bai Yun spat out blood. His white shirt was torn, revealing the armor underneath. Damn it. Young Master Bai Yun's face was extremely ugly. He had already escaped, but the other party was still not letting him go? Damn it. He swore that he would kill the other party when he escaped. In the next moment, he changed his direction and ran toward the city governor's mansion. He wanted to call for help. He was the young master of General Bai Yun's uniform. Therefore, he naturally knew the people in the general's mansion. As long as he went there, the city governor's mansion would definitely save him. Buzz. However, before he could run a few steps, another shocking arrow came flying from behind and hit his body again in an instant. He spat out a mouthful of blood and cracks instantly appeared on his armor. Damn it. Save me. I am young Master Bai Yun. If you kill me, you will become an enemy of the White Cloud Mansion. You will go against the Ninely dynasty. You are dead meat. Young Master Bai Yun roared crazily. At the same time, he wanted to alert the people in the city governor's mansion. At that moment, all the martial artists in Qianshan City looked at the sky. Someone was chasing after young Master Bai Yun. Was this real? Why did it feel like a dream? However, young Master Bai Yun's roar was effective. Below, a few figures rushed out from the city governor's mansion. I am young Master Bai Yun. Save me. These people immediately came in front of young Master Bai Yun and protected him. One of the middle-aged men shouted coldly. Who dares to attack young Master Bai Yun? Do you want to die? Boom. Just as he finished speaking, an arrow hit him in an instant. Then his entire body was smashed apart, turning into a bloody mist that filled the sky. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Who was this person? He was too terrifying. He even dared to kill someone from the city lord's mansion? Moreover, there was no hesitation at all. Everyone was extremely shocked. The few martial artists from the city lord's mansion felt their scalps go numb. Let's go, let's go. He was a madman. Young Master White Cloud was also frantically urging him. He could tell that the other party did not care about their identities at all. Such a person was the most terrifying. Therefore, the group of people flew down. However, they had only flown halfway when a ray of light blocked their path. The light exploded, turning into countless black holes, blocking their path. Buzz. 7 arrows quickly flew over from the sky. Lin Xian's godly strength was unparalleled. He continuously drew his bow, and every arrow contained the aura of the great dragon sword spirit. It was extremely sharp. Therefore, those martial artists could not contend at all. Boom. Boom. One king after another exploded, leaving behind only young Master White Cloud, who was bitterly holding on. Not only that, he also took out 3 white shields and a golden pagoda to protect her. However, it was useless. Amidst the energy that filled the sky, they exploded. Save me. Young Master White Cloud went crazy. He burned his spiritual energy at all costs and flew down frantically. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. More than 10 figures rushed out from below. These figures had extremely powerful auras, and there were even top-notch almighties among them. That's great. Seeing this, young Master White Cloud heaved a sigh of relief, and a smile appeared on his face. He knew that he was saved. These people would definitely be able to save him. However, in the next moment, his pupils constricted as he realized that a sharp arrow had suddenly appeared behind him. Boom. A terrifying ray of light exploded and enveloped him. Oh. With a scream, the King Almighties who rushed up roared crazily. Damn it. They unleashed terrifying attacks, tearing apart the energy storm that filled the sky. Then they were all stunned. Young Master White Cloud was nailed in the sky by an arrow. Avenge me. Young Master White Cloud said a few words with difficulty. His neck tilted and he stopped breathing. This arrow had directly destroyed all of his vitality. Damn it. Who was it? Who was it? These people roared crazily, and their gazes were like divine lamps that pierced through the void. Soon, they saw a figure standing in the distance, and the longbow in his hand had not disappeared. It's him. Kill him. The top-notch Almighty waved his hand, and more than 10 figures rushed over quickly. They were rushing toward Lin Xian. Everyone's eyes followed him closely. Lin Xian looked at this scene, snorted coldly, and attacked again. More than 10 arrows flew out. Boom, boom, boom. Dozens of King Almighties exploded instantly, and none of them could escape. Damn it. Seeing this scene, the top-notch Almighty was scared stiff. He realized that the other party was definitely a terrifying demon king. He did not dare to fight head-on and was about to return to the City Lord Mansion to call for help. However, he was also pierced through by an arrow. How is this possible? I'm a top-notch Almighty? The top-notch Almighty widened his eyes in disbelief. He was a top-notch Almighty, and his strength was asking for a beating. How could the other party kill him with one arrow? Could it be that the other party was a peerless Almighty? He did not dare to imagine. However, in the next moment he died. The entire Qianshan city was extremely huge and there were countless martial artists. However, at this moment no one made a sound. That was because the previous scene had stunned them. Dozens of King Almighties, top-notch Almighties, and the extremely influential young Master Bai Yun were all killed. None of them could escape. Who is this person? He's too terrifying. Who is he? For a moment, countless people looked into the distance. However, in the next moment, their eyes blurred because the fiend-like figure standing in the sky disappeared. Whoosh. At the entrance of the Sky Treasure Pavilion, everyone was shocked and their eyelids twitched. That was because Lin Xian had fallen to the ground. Everyone automatically spread out to make way for him and some of them even trembled. The Western Desert Monk and the black-robed man from Southern Border were also silent. The muscles on their faces stiffened because what the other party had done was beyond their expectations. They could not believe it. Is he really just a young man? Only a peerless Almighty can do that. The two of them were also shocked as they looked at Lin Xian in horror. Lin Xian ignored these people and strode into the Sky Treasure Pavilion. Then he said again, "Lady Boss, send the dishes to my East Water Courtyard." Chapter 2295. Lin Xian ignored them and walked into the Sky Treasure Pavilion. Then he said, "Lady Boss, send the dishes to my East Water Courtyard." "All right, young master." The Lady Boss smiled. Her mood was not affected by what had just happened. Lin Xian had left, but the entire Qianshan city was in an uproar. Especially the people from the Sky Treasure Pavilion. They fled frantically and spread the news. That was because they were the main witnesses. In an instant, the entire Qianshan city knew that a peerless demon was living in the Sky Treasure Pavilion. He was so terrifying that he even dared to kill young Master Bai Yun and the people from the city governor's mansion. No one dared to provoke him. However, while ordinary kings did not dare to provoke them, the city lord's mansion was incomparably furious. Young Master Bai Yun was killed in their territory. They could not believe it. One had to know that he was the young master of the White Cloud Mansion, the son of General Bai Yun. General Bai Yun was at the peak of his power in the Ninli dynasty. Whoever killed his son would be committing a heinous crime. No one would be able to escape. Oh no, something big has happened. Hurry up and capture that person. I want to send him to the White Cloud Mansion personally. The city governor of Qianshan City gave the order. Bus. Soon, 5 top Almighties from the city governor's mansion moved out. At the same time there were 10 elite Almighties. 15 powerful figures instantly disappeared into the sky like shooting stars. Sky Treasure Pavilion, East Water Courtyard. Not long after Lin Xian returned, Murong Qingqing also woke up. Soon, a maid served exquisite dishes and spiritual wine. The two of them chatted as they ate. The atmosphere was very warm. However, halfway through the meal, an enormous pressure suddenly enveloped the entire Heavenly Treasure Pavilion. More than 10 figures descended upon the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion like demons and gods, causing the space below to distort due to the pressure. What happened? In an instant, all the martial artists in the Sky Treasure Pavilion trembled. Countless people in Chenshan City looked over. Damn brat, come out. How dare you kill young Master Bai Yun? Today is the day you die. A cold voice was heard, causing everyone's scalp to tingle. What? The experts from the city governor's mansion are here. They came so quickly. That brat is definitely dead. That's right, he dared to kill young Master Bai Yun for the sake of satisfaction. But his end would be miserable. There was no place for him in the entire Ninely dynasty. He was too young, showing off his bravado, and did not know how to make long-term calculations. Many older generation figures shook their heads and sighed. There were also people who sneered, thinking that the other party was too arrogant. A rogue cultivator dared to challenge the White Cloud Mansion. What a reckless man. In the Eastern Water Courtyard, Murong Qingqing was puzzled. What had happened? Lin Xian, on the other hand, frowned. It's fine. A few people who didn't know what was good for them came looking for trouble with me, so I chopped them into pieces. Are they from the Taiyi dynasty? Murong Qingqing was a little nervous. If the army of the Taiyi dynasty came, Lin Xian would be in danger. Lin Xian smiled. No, it's just the city lord's mansion. As he spoke, he rubbed Murong Qingqing's hair and smiled. You eat first, I'll go out and get rid of these flies. Whoosh. In the next moment he disappeared into the void. 15 figures, each of them extremely powerful, stood in the void, causing everyone to hold their breaths and tremble. The lady boss of Sky Treasure Pavilion's face also darkened. Just as she was about to do something, suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed across the void and appeared in the sky. What? Is that kid? He still dares to come out? If I were him, I would definitely run away immediately. What an idiotic kid. Let's see how he's going to die this time. Not necessarily. That guy is a top genius and is extremely powerful. Who knows, he might create a miracle. What kind of miracle can he create? Those are 5 top mighty figures and 10 elite mighty figures. Unless he's a peerless mighty figure, there's no way he can survive. Do you think a young man in his 20s can be a peerless mighty figure? Who do you think he is? A prince of the dynasty or a saint of a sacred ground? The monk from the western desert and the black-robed man from southern border also appeared. The two of them looked up at the void with deep eyes. They wondered if the kid could fight them. The two of them whispered to themselves. In the sky, 15 godlike figures instantly locked onto Lin Xian. You're the culprit? The green-robed old man in the lead asked coldly. Lin Xian looked at the dozen or so people and sneered in disdain. Are you here to die? You're courting death. The green-robed old man roared, and his eyes instantly turned into 2 green moons, emitting a terrifying light. Buzz. 2 green eyes flew out and slashed towards Lin Xian. Buzz. In the sky, a green crescent moon appeared. Like a treasure wheel, it came crashing down. The void was sliced into 2 in an instant. How terrifying. That was the Green Moon Monarch of the City Lord Mansion. He was a top mighty figure. That was the Green Moon Divine Eye. Legend had it that it could destroy everything. Below, in Shenzhen City, all the martial artists were discussing. Countless cracks appeared in the space around Lin Xian in an instant. The terrifying energy was able to crush everything. Lin Xian frowned and snorted. The dragon sword spiritual domain turned into a green dragon and waved its tail in the sky. Then the sky shone like thousands of sword chi, so bright that people couldn't open their eyes. Boom. Dragon. That was a dragon. Countless people exclaimed. However, the pupils of the older generation experts also shrank. No, that wasn't a dragon. That was his domain. Heavens, he actually used a dragon as his spiritual domain. Where did this kid come from? As soon as the dragon sword spiritual domain appeared, it looked like it was looking down on the world. He turned into a terrifying giant sword and scattered from the sky. Boom. An earth-shattering sound was heard, and the green moon was cut in half. Looking at this scene, the 15 experts in the sky changed their expressions. What kind of combat power was that? Could it be that this kid was more powerful than a top mighty figure? Who exactly was he? They couldn't figure it out. On the other side, Lin Xian stood in the void like a dragon god. There was a giant dragon coiled around his body. Whoosh! With a flash, Lin Xian stepped on the dragon's shadow and rushed over. Buzz! His palm reached out and grabbed downwards. Like a ferocious dragon head, it swallowed the old man in green. Damn it! Get lost! The old man in green roared, and the green light in his eyes burst out, turning into rays of divine light that slashed over. Countless rays of red light bombarded the green dragon hand, but it couldn't be damaged at all. This green dragon hand contained countless sword chi, and it was very hard and sharp. In an instant it grabbed the old man in green. Boom! Lin Xian waved his arm, grabbed the old man in green and blasted him into the void. With a boom the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A black hole appeared in the void and countless cracks spread out like a black river. The old man in green seemed to have been struck by lightning, and more than half of his bones were broken. He vomited a large mouthful of blood and was seriously injured. "A damn kid! How dare you hurt me? I'm going to kill you!" The old man in green was caught and roared crazily. Chapter 2296. The 14 powerhouses quickly charged over. In an instant they appeared in all directions around Lin Xian. Kill! With a furious roar, a terrifying divine ability bloomed in the sky. In an instant the place where Lin Xian was completely submerged. Was it over? Below, all the martial artists looked at the sky in shock. Under such a powerful attack, even a pinnacle powerhouse couldn't survive, let alone a young kid. Boom! However, just as they finished speaking, an earth-shattering sound was heard. Immediately after, a sword light that was 10,000 meters long descended from the sky and slashed all the energy storms apart. Then Lin Xian walked out. What? He came out? How was that possible? He was actually unharmed. These people were stunned. The 14 top powerhouses were actually unable to cause any harm to him. Who was he? Everyone couldn't believe it. What made them even more shocked was that Lin Xian was holding a head in his hand. Heavens, was that the head of the Green Moon Monarch? A pinnacle powerhouse was actually killed mercilessly in the hands of the other party without any ability to fight back at all. The other party's strength definitely surpassed that of a pinnacle powerhouse. In the surroundings, the 14 top powerhouses were also extremely shocked. Damn it, that's impossible. Chain attack. Kill him. Don't hold back. Boom. Boom. In an instant, a sky full of divine abilities appeared again and enveloped Lin Xian. The sky was instantly blasted apart. Nothing could be left behind. In the sky, a huge light wave spread out in all directions. The martial artists in the city were directly pressed to the ground by the energy. Buzz! Lin Xian pulled out the ancient Dragon Abyss sword and swung it, using the chaotic Sky Destroyer sword. Boom! 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 Terrifying sword chi swept out and repelled the 14 powerhouses. Then he used Sky Destroyer, Battle Song and Demonic Madness. It enveloped the front. Poof! The bodies of the 3 elite almighties exploded. 6 elite powerhouses were severely injured. The rest were terrified and frantically retreated. Demon. He was a demon. Everyone was shocked. The other party was too powerful, so powerful that it made them despair. However, this only confirmed their suspicions. They must kill this kid. Whoosh! Whoosh! The 4 pinnacle almighties roared angrily. They quickly swallowed the purple pills, and the energy in their bodies suddenly erupted. The remaining elite and powerful beings joined hands to form a formation. Like the Milky Way they rushed over. Raging waves. One of the pinnacle mighty beings had long hair fluttering in the wind as he raised the saber in his hands and slashed out. That shocking saber light was like a wave, erupting with an incomparable roar, swallowing mountains and rivers. Another top-tier being appeared behind Lin Xian. He waved his hand and a terrifying heaven-devouring rat appeared, seeming to be able to devour the entire sky. Gold Peak. To the left of Lin Xian, a pinnacle mighty figure appeared. He held a golden pagoda in his hand and quickly activated it. In an instant, 7 golden mountains appeared in the sky and came crashing down. Each of them was like an ancient demonic mountain, incomparably heavy. To the right of Lin Xian, an old man in a golden robe appeared. Golden flames burned all over his body, and the terrifying temperature caused the entire space to distort. Golden ripple. The old man waved his hand and golden light danced, turning into a golden lotus that charged towards Lin Xian. The 4 pinnacle experts instantly appeared around Lin Xian. They used their most powerful killing moves. The surrounding elite almighties quickly formed a formation, forming a terrifying formation. In the sky, a river of stars flickered, bringing with it dreamy runes. It pressed down and completely enveloped Lin Xian. This was their strongest attack. If they worked together, they could kill each other. Unfortunately, they had found the wrong opponent. The three killer moves of Heaven Crushing appeared and attacked the pinnacle mighty beings behind and to the left and right. At the same time, a golden rune appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. The pinnacle mighty being in front of him stiffened, and his eyes went blank. Boom boom boom. 4 pinnacle mighty beings were killed in an instant. Buzz. The dragon sword domain turned into a divine dragon again, roaring ferociously. The dragon swung its tail and tore apart the river of stars above its head. Those elite mighty beings vomited blood and were sent flying. On Lin Xian's fingertip, the Hell Ice Lotus rapidly expanded. A terrifying energy enveloped everyone. Boom 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 boom. Violent vibrations sounded, and energy surged all over the sky. When everything disappeared, there was nothing left. Only Lin Xian stood in place like a god fiend. They were all killed. Everyone was stunned. 15 peerless experts couldn't do anything to him. They didn't dare to imagine. For a moment, the entire Thousand Mountain City was silent. Lin Xian's figure flickered, and he returned to the East Water Courtyard again. Next, Thousand Mountain City fell into a great shock again. Countless people discussed crazily and made guesses. All kinds of rumors were spreading. At the same time, those powerful families were investigating the other party's identity. The city lord's mansion fell into a solemn atmosphere. They were extremely shocked. They didn't expect the person they were going to deal with to be so terrifying. From the looks of it, he should be a peerless mighty being. Therefore, they didn't plan to interfere. They quickly sent the news to the White Cloud Mansion and let them capture him themselves. After all, a peerless mighty being was a true powerhouse who could suppress a region. Unless they sent a true peerless mighty being, it would be useless no matter how many ordinary mighty beings they sent. Therefore, the city lord's mansion didn't make any more moves. After the warriors of Thousand Mountain City discovered this change, they were even more shocked. What's going on? Has the city lord's mansion regressed? Could it be that this young man was so terrifying? They couldn't believe it. As time passed, they finally stopped talking about Lin Xian. Instead, they talked about another matter. A woman, Yen Ruyu. Because tomorrow was the day when Yen Ruyu would arrive, and it was also young Master Chen San's birthday. At that time, powerhouses would gather, and geniuses would be as dazzling as the stars. It would definitely be a grand banquet. The next day, as soon as the sun rose, the Moonflower Palace became lively. War chariots stopped at the door, and the ones pulling the chariots were all terrifying monster kings. However, at this moment they were sitting there very docilely. Figures walked out of the war chariots one after another. Some were mighty and extraordinary, some were graceful, some were young and energetic, and some were old and vigorous. In short, there were all kinds of people. However, without exception, they were all powerhouses and had incomparably noble statuses. In the sky, countless divine red streaks streaked across and then stopped. Spirit boats appeared one after another, and tens of thousands of rays of light shone down. Countless figures descended. On the other hand, immortal cranes danced. The huge immortal cranes were 1,000 meters long. When they spread their wings, they brought up clouds and mist that filled the sky as if they were riding the wind and breaking the waves. On the other side, the sky roared like dark clouds rolling over. It was an incomparably black flood dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws. The scales all over its body flickered with a black light. As soon as it appeared, it suppressed the world. Chapter 2297. 5-colored auspicious clouds, golden divine boats, all kinds of birds and beasts, powerful chariots, and spirit boats gathered at the Moonflower Palace. Countless figures walked in. This was a grand occasion. Sky Treasure Pavilion, East Water Garden. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing held hands and left the courtyard. They walked towards the Moonflower Palace. Today they were going to participate as well. At this moment, the Moonflower Castle was a boiling cauldron of voices. Heads were moving about, forming a dark mass. Fortunately, the Moonflower Palace was big enough to accommodate tens of millions of people without feeling crowded. At the entrance, the warriors of the city lord's mansion were wearing armor and maintaining order. The cultivators discussed animatedly. They were extremely excited. However, at this moment, a commotion came from behind. A young man walked over in large strides. He was bare-chested and extremely vigorous. His muscles were like dragons and his black hair fluttered in the wind. He carried a sense of arrogance. Su Hao, I didn't expect him to come too. What? He's Su Hao the skyscraper? He's very famous among the younger generation. Who else could it be? Everyone was talking about it. The black-haired young man looked disdainfully and ignored everyone. He walked in with large strides. Whoosh! After Su Hao, there were exclamations of surprise. A few young men in white carried long swords on their backs. They flew in the air and looked very confident. People from the sixth prince's mansion. They actually came too. I wonder if the young prince has arrived? Everyone exclaimed in surprise and made way for him. These young men in white had smiles on their faces. They were very confident as they flew into the main hall. Buzz buzz buzz. The ground trembled slightly as if thousands of horses were galloping. It made people's scalps tingle. Then they turned their heads and looked behind them. 3 silhouettes walked over. They were tall and sturdy, and their faces were cold and stern. There was no expression on their faces. With every step they took, the ground trembled. One could imagine how terrifying these 3 people were. They were the 3 young masters of the Teng family. They could be said to be peerless prodigies. How many prodigies had come this time? Everyone exclaimed and felt dizzy. But soon many people trembled and retreated frantically. This caused a vacuum to appear in the originally crowded place. When the 3 young masters of the Teng family saw this, they smiled with satisfaction. But soon they were stunned. Because they realized that these people were not in awe of them. Could it be that someone else was coming? In the next moment, the 3 of them stopped in their tracks and turned around to look. 2 silhouettes appeared behind him. It was a very handsome young man in a red robe. Beside him was a woman in purple. She was wearing a veil, so her true appearance could not be seen clearly. However, just by her disposition, one could tell that she was a peerless beauty. The 2 of them walked side by side, hand in hand, like a pair of celestial children. They did not emit any terrifying aura, but the surrounding kings trembled as they looked at each other, their faces pale. Seeing this scene, the 3 young masters of the Teng clan frowned. Where did these 2 people come from? Why were they so frightening? They did not know what had happened 2 days ago, nor did they know that Lin Xian had killed 15 peerless experts. He even killed young Master White Cloud in a domineering manner. If they had known, they wouldn't have taken action. He had never seen this unfamiliar-looking kid before. He should be someone who had just started roaming the Jianghu. Which clan is he from? The eldest young master of the Teng clan narrowed his eyes, but the second young master of the Teng clan smiled evilly. Who cares which clan he's from, but the woman beside him is really a beauty. I haven't seen such a beautiful woman in a long time. I must get her. Second brother, don't act rashly. Judging from the expressions of the surrounding people, he's definitely not simple. So what? The second young master of the Teng clan laughed. Could it be that he's more powerful than the 3 of us? Don't worry, big brother. Yes, big brother. The third young master of the Teng clan also laughed. At most, we'll investigate his identity first, then think of a way to make a move. If we can't get this beauty, second brother probably won't be able to sleep tonight. The 3 of them discussed there. The second young master's eyes were shining as he stared at Murong Qingqing. The surrounding people were also looking at Murong Qingqing because she was just too beautiful. They even suspected that the other party was the legendary beauty Yen Ruyu. However, they knew that she should not be Yen Ruyu. This was because Yen Ruyu would not walk together with Lin Xian. Beautiful, she's too beautiful. The second young master of the Teng clan clapped his hands and laughed. He walked forward and blocked Lin Xian and Yen Ryu's path. Beauty, may I know your name? Where's your master? The second young master of the Teng clan smiled and greeted her. Murong Qingqing did not say anything, but she frowned. Lin Xian scoffed, "Get lost or I'll dig your eyes out." What? Hearing this, the second young master of the Teng clan's pupils shrunk, and his face darkened. How dare he talk to me like that? He's courting death. Nevertheless, the surrounding people were used to it. This was because the other party dared to kill young Master Bai Yun. The second young master of the Teng clan was powerful, but he probably would not be taken seriously by the other party. Young fella, do you know who you're talking to? Do you want to die? The second young master of the Teng clan had a cold look in his eyes, and he emitted a terrifying killing intent. The eldest young master and the third young master stood out as well. The 3 of them were from the same clan, so they were bound together for good or ill. Therefore they would fight together against the enemy. I'm in a good mood today, so I don't want to kill anyone. However, don't provoke me, or I won't mind sending the 3 of you on your way. Lin Xian hugged Murong Qingqing and said indifferently, "You're courting death." The second young master of the Teng clan was furious. The eldest young master and the third young master's faces darkened as well, and their eyes were extremely gloomy. Just as the 3 of them were about to attack, a loud laugh was heard coming from the main hall in front of them. So it's the third young master of the Teng clan. Sorry for the disrespect. Third, why aren't you coming in with me? Another white-clothed young man walked out. Young fella, you're lucky this time. Just you wait, I'll definitely kill you today. The second young master of the Teng clan scoffed. He waved his sleeve and turned to walk in. The eldest and third young masters also looked deeply at Lin Xian before they left. Let's go. Lin Xian held Murong Qingqing's hand and they walked in together. The surrounding people only dared to move forward after Lin Xian left for a long time. They had no choice as they did not dare to provoke the other party. Moreover, they felt that the three young masters of the Teng clan were going to be unlucky this time because they had offended a formidable person. Do you think the young fellow will attack the three young masters of the Teng clan? It's hard to say. It depends on the three young masters of the Teng clan if they want to attack the young fella. If the three young masters really want to attack him, he'll probably end up in a miserable state. That young fella looks like someone who has no scruples and is decisive. If they really fight, the three young masters of the Tong clan will probably end up in a miserable state. Chapter 2298. The people of White Cloud City were probably already rushing over. If he was caught, it would be difficult for that kid to die. Forget it, let's stop discussing. This isn't something we can discuss. Otherwise, if the other party hears us, we won't even be able to live. Let's hurry in. Yes, I've long wanted to see who that Yen Ryu is. Now that you mention it, I'm excited too. Let's go. The group stopped discussing and entered the hall in front of them. The Moonflower Palace was even more lively inside. There were powerful warriors coming and going. At this moment there were groups of 3 and 10 people in groups. Those who knew each other gathered together to chat and drink. Even if they didn't know each other, they had heard of each other's reputation in the same dynasty. At this moment they also smiled and greeted each other. Of course there were also people who were hostile. After all, there were many young geniuses here, and no one was willing to submit to each other. There were even intense sparks colliding. However, no one made a move here. The Moonflower Palace did not allow people to fight inside. If they wanted to fight they could, but they would be kicked out. The Moonflower Palace did not belong to Thousand Mountain City, nor did it belong to the Ninely Dynasty. It was a very mysterious organization. No one knew who was standing behind them, but everyone knew that the Moonflower Palace was very terrifying and must not be provoked. Because there were once 5 top mighty figures who caused trouble here. In the end, the next day, the corpses of these 5 top mighty figures were hung on the city wall. These 5 mighty figures were not injured, but their eyes were wide open as if they had encountered something terrifying before they died. Ever since that incident, no one dared to cause trouble here. After Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing entered, they also looked around. They did not look for anyone, nor did they intend to exchange pleasantries with others. The two of them came only to silently inquire about the news and see if anyone was talking about the nest of 10,000 dragons. Junior sister, you guys are here too. At this moment, a delicate voice sounded. Murong Qingqing and Ling Xian turned around and saw Zhao Zhirua walking over slowly from behind with surprise in her eyes. Senior sister, you're here too. Murong Qingqing was also surprised. Lin Xian nodded slightly and greeted them. Zhao Zhirua walked up. She looked at Lin Xian, rolled her eyes and coldly snorted. Do you know that you almost caused the extinction of my Zhao family? What happened? Murong Qingqing was nervous while Lin Xian frowned. The people of the Tai dynasty were here? You also know why you hid your identity? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Lin Xian looked apologetic. After all, she was Murong Qingqing's senior sister. He said, I hid my identity to avoid those people. It's just that I didn't expect them to come knocking on my door so soon. However, didn't I remind you that the Zhao family had nothing to do with me? Could it be that they had made a move? Draw a line between them? How could he clear his name? Everyone in Stellar Sky City has seen that you're staying in our Zhao clan, but they don't know. Zhao Zhirua snorted coldly, but then she shook her head and didn't make a move. For some reason they retreated. And from the looks of it, they seem to have let the Zhao family go. That's good. Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian asked, where are they? Have they come to Qianshan City? I don't know. Even if they don't come now, they will come soon. That was because there were simply too many experts from the Ninely dynasty. Moreover, they had connections with the Ninely dynasty. They will probably use the Ninely dynasty's intelligence network to lock onto your location. You're pretty bold, aren't you? You actually dared to swagger around here. How dare you show up at such a gathering? Don't you know that this gathering is for the top geniuses and people from great clans from all over the Ninely dynasty? If they recognize you, you won't be able to leave. Don't worry. They don't dare to provoke me now. Lin Xian shrugged. Zhao Zhihua was confused. Why are you so confident? Murong Qingqing smiled. Indeed, he had just killed young Master Bai Yin 2 days ago. These disciples wouldn't dare to do anything to him. What? He killed again. He even killed young Master Bai Yun. Zhao Zhihua felt dizzy. She knew about young Master Bai Yun. He was famous and could do whatever he wanted in the Ninely dynasty. As long as he didn't provoke those princes, no one would dare to touch him. But now this kid in front of her killed young Master Bai Yun. What do you want to do this time? What else did you do? Zhao Zhihua's mouth twitched. She had to get to the bottom of this. Otherwise, her heart wouldn't be able to take it. Other than killing young Master Bai Yun, I killed more than 10 experts from the city lord residence. Other than that, I didn't do anything else. You can't blame me. They were too arrogant. They wanted my life. I could only take action. What? You even killed experts from the city lord residence? Zhao Zhihua exclaimed, which attracted the attention of the surrounding people. The surrounding people were terrified, while the warriors from other cities in the distance were puzzled. Who is this kid? Is he crazy? What nonsense is he talking about? They didn't believe what Lin Xian said. But fortunately, the Moonflower Palace was very big. So at this moment not many people noticed Lin Xian. Because there were too many people. There were tens of millions of martial artists here. Junior sister, I think you should stay away from this guy. Zhao Zhihua's mouth twitched. Murong Qingqing smiled. Don't worry, senior sister. I know what I'm doing. You call that knowing what I'm doing? He offended 2 dynasties. Zhao Zhihua went crazy. Lin Xian shrugged helplessly. Brother Long, at this moment, another voice was heard. Then Lin Xian and the other 2 turned around. Behind him, a beautiful young lady was running towards him happily. Then she jumped into Lin Xian's arms. Seeing this scene, Zhao Zhihua was stunned. Junior sister, this guy is too dishonest. He actually dares to interact with other girls in front of you? You can endure this? Zhao Zhihua's face turned black. Murong Qingqing was much calmer. She said indifferently. Brother Xian is a peerless genius. It's normal for many girls to like him. This means that I have good taste. Alright, I really don't know what you peerless geniuses are thinking. All of you are freaks. Zhao Zhihua shook her head helplessly. In front, Lin Xian also pushed away the beauty in his arms. Then he smiled. Little girl, why are you here? Brother Long, long time no see. In front, another tall figure walked over. Brother Xiao. Lin Xian smiled and greeted the other party. This tall figure was precisely Xiao Kuang. Previously, in Wanrun City, Lin Xian and the other party had killed a powerful demon king together. The beauty in front of him was Xiao Ling. At this moment, Xiao Ling raised her face and shook Lin Xian's arm. Brother Long, when did you come? Why didn't you come to find me? Chapter 2299. At the side, everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. The cultivators of Qianshan City felt their scalps go numb. The foreign cultivators were even more shocked. Who was this person? He actually knew the little princess of the Xiao family? They knew the origins of Xiao Ling and Xiao Kuang. They were from the Hong sect. The Hong sect was very powerful and spread throughout the entire Qianshan region. It could be said that it was a very huge force. Therefore, Xiao Ling naturally became the little princess of the Qianshan region. Her status could be said to be very noble. Compared to young Master Qianshan of the City Lord's Mansion and young Master Bai Yun who was killed previously, she was not inferior at all. It could be said that she was the dream target of countless young geniuses. However, at this moment they were somewhat stunned. Because Xiao Ling was so enthusiastic towards an unfamiliar young man. She even threw herself into his arms. What was the relationship between the 2 of them? Could it be that they were lovers? However, wasn't this brat already together with a peerless beauty? He could actually hug her left and right. These people were shocked. Many people looked at Lin Xian with unfriendly expressions. After all, Xiao Ling was also one of their pursuers. Sister Qingqing. In front, Xiao Ling also cheered and ran to Murong Qingqing's side. Lin Xian and Xiao Kuang walked to the side to drink and chat. Around them, many peerless geniuses and young masters of large families walked over, wanting to strike up a conversation with Xiao Ling Murong Qingqing and Zhao Zhihua. After all, these were 3 peerless beauties. However, they were all blocked by the 3 of them. In the distance, a cry of surprise suddenly came, followed by countless people. That voice was so loud that Lin Xian and the others turned their heads to look. In front of them, countless people were gathering there. A crystal platform rose and a beautiful figure walked out from it. The woman's white clothes and black hair fluttered in the wind. Her eyes were incomparably clear, and her entire body emitted an immortal aura. She was indeed beautiful. Even Zhao Zhirua, Murong Qingqing and the others were all amazed. Lin Xian looked at her in shock. His pupils even constricted. The wine glass in his hand suddenly shattered, and the wine spilled all over the ground. Seeing this scene, Xiao Kuang was puzzled. He asked, "Brother Long, what's wrong?" Murong Qingqing, Zhao Zhirua and Xiao Ling were also surprised. Among them, Murong Qingqing was full of worry, but Zhao Zhirua snorted coldly. This guy, could it be that he got excited because he saw a beauty? Nonsense, Brother Long wouldn't be like this. Xiao Ling snorted lightly. Murong Qingqing also frowned. This was because she had never seen Lin Xian act so abnormally before. What's going on? Could it be that older brother Xian and this Yan Ryu know each other? Lin Xian was stunned because he did not recognize the white figure in front of him. However, he knew him and was extremely familiar with him. However, he did not understand why the other party was called Yan Ryu. This is Zhao Shui. When did it become Yan Ryu? To be honest, he was extremely shocked. He realized that Zhao Shui's entire body was mysterious. When he first met her, she was running for her life. After that, the two of them spent some time together and separated. When they met for the second time, Zhao Shui became incomparably cold, as if she did not recognize him. Furthermore, her strength had undergone an earth-shattering change, and she even learned the ancient divine ability Void Sky Eyes. This made Lin Xian even more shocked. However, the two of them spent some time together and then left. After that, Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, and the others came to the eastern wasteland and left the Jianghu continent. Lin Xian did not know whether Zhao Shui had left or not. He even thought that he would never see her again in this lifetime. However, he did not expect that she would also come. Not only that, but she also appeared here. However, this time, Zhao Shui was even more mysterious. Even her name was changed. Was she Zhao Shui or not? Or was it just that they looked very similar? Even Lin Xian was extremely puzzled. However, he did not believe that he had misjudged her, especially after he obtained the heavenly secret divine eyes. It was even more impossible for him to be wrong. Perhaps she had no choice but to do so, Lin Xian thought. He had a fortuitous encounter in these years and so did she. Perhaps there was some unforeseen event that forced Zhao Shui to change her name to Yan Ryu. However, no matter what, Lin Xian wanted to meet her and have a good chat. Kid, be careful. She might not be the Zhao Shui you know anymore. At this moment, the dark red divine dragon also transmitted its voice. Lin Xian frowned and asked, "What do you mean?" The dark red divine dragon said, "I can sense a demonic aura from her body, and she also has a pure bloodline power. She is definitely a terrifying demon king. She might even be an extremely precious mutated species. Kid, be careful. She might have been possessed by some old monster." What? Hearing this, Lin Xian's eyes darkened, and a terrifying aura emerged from his body. However, at this moment, the dark red divine dragon said again, "Not necessarily. Perhaps she is a demon herself. No, I have to find her and ask her clearly." Lin Xian decided that he had to meet Zhao Shui. However, now was not the right time. He planned to meet her alone after the banquet. After Yan Ryu came out, a few more figures walked out. A handsome young man in green clothes who should be young Master Qianshan. As soon as he appeared, he was surrounded by countless people, like stars surrounding the moon. Those standing around him were all peerless geniuses, people of status and strength. Ordinary people could not blend in. Yan Ryu was also invited to the side by young Master Qianshan and the others to taste wine. The others could only watch from afar, but even so, they felt that this trip was not in vain. That was because Yan Ryu was too beautiful. Lin Xian retracted his gaze and wiped the wine on his hands. He picked up a wine glass from the table again and took a deep breath. He tried hard to recover his emotions and his gaze finally returned to normal. He drank with Xiao Kuang again. However, at this moment, four beauties walked over from the crowd. The person in the lead, wearing a palace robe, came in front of Lin Xian with a smile, then bowed slightly. "Are you young Master Lin?" "I am. Who are you?" Lin Xian looked at her. "Our master invites young Master Lin over." "Your master, who are you people?" Lin Xian frowned. Could it be that Zhao Shui had discovered him? Lin Xian was not sure. Of course, he could not rule out the possibility that this was a trap. Perhaps someone wanted to deal with him and lure him away. Therefore he had to ask clearly. We are from the Moonflower Palace, so our master is naturally the master of the Moonflower Palace. The beautiful woman in palace attire smiled. What, the master of the Moonflower Palace? Hearing this, Lin Xian was extremely surprised. Not only him but Zhao Zhirua, Xiao Kuang and the others were also surprised. The surrounding King Realm Almighties also exclaimed in surprise. The Moonflower Illusion Palace was extremely mysterious. No one knew who was standing behind them. In the past, many powerful forces and families wanted to investigate. However, they all returned empty-handed. But now, to think that this mysterious master would invite Lin Xian over. Chapter 2300. This mysterious master actually wanted to invite Lin Xian. What was going on? Could it be that they knew each other? Everyone was extremely shocked, and the warriors of Qianshan City also came to a realization. They had said that Lin Xian couldn't be a rogue cultivator. Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? He even knew the master of the Moonflower Palace. This was something that ordinary people couldn't do. Who is your master? Lin Xian also frowned and asked. He didn't know the master of the Moonflower Palace? Young Master Lin would naturally know if he went there himself. The woman in red smiled and then said, Why, young Master Lin doesn't dare? What's there to be afraid of? Lin Xian put down his wine cup and said, Brother Xiao, I'll go. All right. Xiao Kuang nodded. Then Lin Xian came to Murong Qingqing's side. Qingqing, you play with senior sister Zhirua and the others first. I'll be back soon. Be careful. Murong Qingqing said with concern. Lin Xian nodded and then left with the four women in palace attire. Lin Xian followed behind the woman in red and walked towards the depths of the Moonflower Palace. Soon they arrived at a formation. The group of people entered the formation and disappeared with a flash of light. In an instant, Lin Xian and the others appeared in another place. Lin Xian looked around and realized that they should still be in the Moonflower Palace. They hadn't left, so he felt a lot more at ease. Not long after, they teleported again. After a total of 3 teleportations, they arrived at a very quiet place. Other than them, there was no one else around. It seemed that this should be the core area of the Moonflower Palace. In front, the 4 beauties in red stopped in their tracks. They bowed respectfully and said, Young Master Lin, please. Lin Xian nodded, pushed open the door and walked in. The 4 women in red closed the door behind him and quickly used the formation to leave. The inside was very big and the decorations were very exquisite. However, there was no one. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. What was going on? Didn't someone want to see him? Why is there no one here? Thinking of this, he narrowed his eyes and released his soul power. Although this room was very large and there were many rooms, Lin Xian's soul force was extremely strong. In the blink of an eye, he had covered the entire area. However, his frown deepened. Because he didn't sense anyone. Was there really no one? Lin Xian was stunned. He had thought that someone was somewhere else, but his soul force didn't detect anyone else's aura. Lin Xian felt that something was amiss, so he turned around and left. Because he suspected that this might be a trap. Just as he turned around and took 2 steps, a flirtatious voice drifted over. Young Master Lin, why are you leaving? Upon hearing this voice, Lin Xian froze and his pupils constricted. He abruptly turned his head and a sharp light burst out from his eyes. He once again probed with his soul force. Someone's here? What's going on? He was extremely shocked because this time he felt the aura of a human. But this was impossible. He clearly hadn't sensed it before, so how did it appear? He couldn't believe it. One had to know that his soul force was even stronger than that of a peerless almighty. If he couldn't detect anyone, then it was definitely a human. But what's going on? Could it be that the other party had just teleported in? After another round of observation, he realized that there was no teleportation array in the room. Who are you and why did you ask me to come? Lin Xian asked coldly. Then he said, What, is this how you treat your guests? Since you asked me to come, why don't you come out and meet me? Why do you have to be so sneaky? Young master, you've wronged me, I want to come out too. But to see you I specially took a bath. But I'm not done yet. Young master came too quickly, so why don't you sit down and wait for a while? Or you can come and find me directly. At this point, the sound of running water could be heard from the room. Hearing this sound, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Beauty trap. He wanted to see what the other party was up to. So he stepped forward and walked towards the sound of running water. Sure enough, the door in front of him was half open, and the sound of running water came from inside. There was also mist and a figure could be vaguely seen. "Young master, come and have a cup of tea." However, at this moment, a coquettish voice came from the living room again. This voice was exactly the same as before. Obviously, it was from the same person. However, Lin Xian was shocked again. What's going on? Wasn't she taking a bath inside? Why did she suddenly come to the living room? In the next moment, he waved his sleeve and the door couldn't be opened. Mist filled the room, but there was no one inside. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Although he didn't activate the heavenly secret divine eyes, with his soul force, even a peerless almighty couldn't do anything to him. However, the current situation was really beyond his expectations. Therefore, in the next moment, his body swayed, and he used the demigods and semidevils to instantly appear in the living room. There was indeed a figure in the living room. It was a woman. She was sitting there with a bathrobe wrapped around her body, and her hair was wet. Obviously, she had just taken a bath. However, how was that possible? How did she come out? How could she hide from Lin Xian's perception? The woman's skin was snow white, and there was a fragrance on her body. In addition to the scene, she was infinitely seductive. However, Lin Xian wasn't in the mood to care about that. He asked coldly, "Who are you?" The woman raised her head. She was very beautiful, but Lin Xian realized that he didn't know her. That made him wary. The beautiful woman smiled as she dried her hair. "Young Master Lin, don't be so anxious after you're here. Sit down and have a cup of tea. This is 3,000-year-old oolong tea, and it contains oolong blood essence. Drinking a cup will definitely strengthen your physique. In order to entertain you, I've even brought out the best things." Su Chen's eyes flickered as he stared at her. But then he sat down with a smile on his face. "All right, I'll play with her." He wanted to see what tricks she had up her sleeves. Therefore, when he thought of that, he sat down boldly, picked up the teacup on the table and took a sip. "It's indeed good tea." Lin Xian nodded in satisfaction. The beautiful woman was stunned for a moment before she smiled. "Young Master Lin, you're indeed bold. However, aren't you afraid that I'll poison it? You should know that some poisons can even kill an invincible king, let alone an almighty. Young Master Lin, do you think you can resist it?" Hearing that, Lin Xian smiled. He had secretly checked it with his heavenly secret god eyes before, and there was no problem. Moreover, he had the great dragon sword soul in his body. Even if it was poisonous, he was confident that he could destroy it. Therefore, he smiled and said, "Seeing that your movement technique is extremely strange, I think you must have a mysterious background. Someone like you wouldn't stoop to poisoning people. Moreover, I'll drink the tea you make even if it's poisonous." Lin Xian then stared at the man's body. The beautiful woman was stunned for a moment before she smiled and said, "Young Master Lin, you're indeed bold. The night is long, let's have fun." Chapter 2301. Lin Xian said with a smile. "Sure, I can't wait any longer." As he said that, he reached out with his palm. He was so fast that it was as if he had passed through the void. In an instant, his palm appeared in front of the beautiful woman. His target was the bath towel on her body. Seeing this, the beautiful woman's expression froze. She did not expect him to be so decisive. But soon she laughed coquettishly and twisted her body, narrowly dodging the attack. What a strange movement technique. Lin Xian was surprised. The other party's speed was so fast that it did not seem to be any weaker than his demigods and semidevils. Who is this person? How can he have such an exquisite movement technique? Lin Xian was surprised that the other party had dodged it. However, in the next moment he sped up again. Countless palm shadows in the sky enveloped the woman in an instant. However, the woman's identity was even stranger. She had dodged all of them. Otherwise, her body would have disappeared into the void in an instant and could no longer be seen. Seeing this, Lin Xian probed with his soul spirit. The result shocked him. A similar scene happened again. He could not capture the other party's trace at all. It was as if she had really disappeared. However, how was that possible? He knew that the other party had not disappeared. She had used some kind of movement technique or secret technique to hide. Thinking of this, he snorted coldly. A golden Tao pattern appeared in his eyes as he looked around. Whoosh! Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile as he reached behind him. Ah! A cry of surprise came from behind him. A woman's figure appeared. Whoosh! The bath towel on her body had been torn off by Lin Xian. At this moment, the woman was naked. Seeing this, Lin Xian was stunned. The woman, on the other hand, laughed. "What, Mr. Lin, do you want to do something else?" As she spoke, she pounced on Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a shake of his sleeve, the bath towel wrapped around the beautiful woman again. The beautiful woman laughed coquettishly. A dagger appeared in her hand and she slashed at Lin Xian's neck. The dagger shone with a cold light. It was obviously a top-grade treasure. The void was instantly sliced open and a terrifying crack appeared. Lin Xian felt a biting cold killing intent. His muscles tensed up and countless sword chi surged out from his body, knocking the dagger away. Sword chi that filled the sky flew out from his body and swept across the heaven and earth. The woman's bathrobe was instantly torn apart. Not only that, a human skin mask fell off her face. Seeing this scene, the woman cried out in alarm. Lin Xian was also extremely shocked. A human skin mask. He did not expect that the other party had actually disguised himself. Furthermore, it was such an ancient method. It should be known that for peak kings like them, if they wanted to change their appearance, it was an extremely simple matter. He only needed to change his bones and muscles. However, if the other party was so strong, why did he still use such a primitive method like a human skin mask? However, what made him even more surprised was that he did not notice that the other party was in disguise. It seemed that this human skin mask was no ordinary mask. "It's you?" Lin Xian looked at him and exclaimed, because he realized that he actually knew the person in front of him. Without the human skin mask, the woman revealed an exquisite face. She was also extremely beautiful. But the woman took out a robe from her storage ring and put it on. Then she knelt on the ground with one knee. "Greetings, master. Luo Bingshan, it's actually you? Where have you been all these years?" Lin Xian was extremely shocked. This woman was none other than the top assassin who had come from the Jianghu continent with him, Luo Bingshan. Back then, not long after they had arrived in the eastern wasteland, Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, and Luo Li had been taken away by different people. Among them, Murong Qingqing had gone to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground, and Shinjingqiu had gone to the Purple Dawn Sacred Ground. Luo Bingshan had been taken away by a mysterious person. He did not expect that he would appear again. Moreover, the other party's strength had become so strong. That strange movement technique had shocked him greatly. "Get up. I'm no longer your master. The restrictions on you should have been removed. You don't have to do this." Lin Xian waved his hand and a force lifted Luo Li up. Luo Bingshan said in a deep voice, "But in my heart, you have always been my master." "Alright, let's not talk about this for now." Lin Xian asked, "Why are you here? How did you become the master of the Moonflower Palace? Also, what kind of movement technique is this? It's so strange that even I can't detect it." "Master, listen to me slowly." Hearing this, Lin Xian smiled. "Don't call me master, change the way you address me. Then I'll call you Brother Xian. Actually, that day after I was taken away by that mysterious person, I joined an organization." "An organization? What organization?" Lin Xian was curious. Luo Bingshan said, "Regarding our organization, the core secrets cannot be said. There is a restriction in my body. Once I say it, I will be instantly killed. However, I can tell you some basic information. Brother Xian, I don't know if you have heard of the Heavenly Court." "Heavenly Court?" Hearing this, Lin Xian's pupils constricted. How could he not have heard of the Heavenly Court? That was an assassin divine dynasty that was as famous as hell. Moreover, not long ago he had been assassinated by someone from hell and was almost killed. It could be said that his memory of this assassin divine dynasty was still fresh. Heavenly Court, hell, the world of men, could it be that ancient assassin divine dynasty? Lin Xian asked. "That's right, it was the legendary Heavenly Court." Luo Bingshan nodded. Lin Xian was even more surprised. "What, the organization you joined, could it be the Heavenly Court?" He was extremely shocked. The Heavenly Court was a legendary existence that was even more terrifying than hell. The assassins inside were unparalleled in the world. No wonder the Falling Ice Mountain's movement technique was so exquisite that even he couldn't detect it. Thinking about it, this should be a unique ability of the Heavenly Court's assassins. It was about the same. Luo Bingshan said. "However, we are not called Heavenly Court now but Heaven." "Heaven changed its name?" Lin Xian frowned. Luo Bingshan explained that the Heavenly Court had been destroyed back then, but there were still some people left behind. These people wanted to rebuild the Heavenly Court, but in the past tens of thousands of years, their opinions had differed. In the end, these people were divided into two factions. One faction became Heaven, and the other faction became the Holy Church. Among them, Heaven inherited the previous assassination legacy of the Heavenly Court and became the top assassin organization. As for the Holy Church, they inherited other legacies. I'm not too sure what they do. I also changed my name. Now I'm called Luo Li. There was actually such a thing. Lin Xian was extremely surprised. He had heard before that the three great assassin divine dynasties had suffered heavy losses. However, among them, the world of men and hell were preserved, while the heavenly court was destroyed and became history. He didn't expect that the heavenly court was also preserved. However, it split into two factions and formed two new terrifying organizations. One was the new assassin divine dynasty Heaven. The other was the Holy Church, which seemed very mysterious. Chapter 2302. This Moonflower Castle is a stronghold of our heavenly hall. I'm in charge here. So that's how it is. Lin Xian finally understood. But then he asked again, Luoli, how much do you know about hell? Can you tell me more about it? What's wrong, Brother Xian? Are you interested in hell? Luoli was surprised. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Not long ago I was assassinated by them. What? Hell had attacked. Luoli was extremely surprised. She didn't expect hell to assassinate Lin Xian. What surprised her even more was that Lin Xian actually managed to escape. She couldn't believe it. One had to know that hell was an ancient assassin dynasty, an extremely terrifying existence. Rumor had it that the palace of hell was filled with countless heads. Many of them were saints and invincible kings. One could imagine how terrifying hell was. However, she was surprised that Lin Xian was able to escape. I happen to know a stronghold of hell. And it's in the Ninely dynasty. From the looks of it, it should be the people of this stronghold who did it. But Brother Xian, the people of hell are extremely terrifying. Unless an army presses down on them, they can't be destroyed. Otherwise, it'll be difficult to fight against them. I know, don't worry. Lin Xian nodded. I won't be impulsive. But I need to know where they are first. I'll settle the score with them later. Soon, Luoli told Lin Xian the location of Hell's stronghold. After Lin Xian heard it, his eyes shone with a cold light. While Lin Xian was chatting with Luoli, on the other side Murong Qingqing and the others were surrounded by people. The few of them standing there were simply too dazzling. Other than Yen Ryu, there was Murong Qingqing. Some people even compared Yen Ryu and Murong Qingqing and found that they were on par. This made them even more shocked and surprised. Yen Ryu was also very surprised when she discovered this situation. Yen Ryu was fine. Her face was like autumn water and her beautiful eyes were incomparably deep. The young geniuses around her were extremely surprised. There was actually someone who could compare to Fairy Yen. Who was this person? He looked unfamiliar. He shouldn't be from our Ninely dynasty. Otherwise we would have known about it long ago. These were all young masters of large clans. They were very clear about the geniuses and beauties of the Ninely dynasty. Nothing could escape their eyes. But now they discovered that they actually didn't know each other. The three young masters of the Ting clan also turned their heads to look. Subsequently, the Ting family's second young master smiled. He walked over again. Is Brother Ting interested in that girl? Many people laughed, including the Ting family's third young master. Yes, when we were outside, second elder brother had already noticed him. If he didn't succeed, second brother wouldn't give up. However, there were also people who frowned. Wasn't that woman with that brat? Brat, which brat? Why is he famous? Many people were puzzled. The young man said. Of course he was famous. That brat had killed young Master Bai Yun and more than 10 experts from the City Lord Mansion. Do you think it's famous or not? What? Young Master Bai Yun was killed? Many young geniuses were shocked. Because they had just arrived from another place, they naturally didn't know what had happened. Young Master Qianshan frowned and a cold look appeared in his eyes. It's them? The experts from White Cloud City are already on their way. But as young Master Bai Yun's good friend, I won't let the enemy escape. Young Master Qianshan's body emitted a terrifying killing intent. Not only did the other party kill young Master Bai Yun, but he also killed more than 10 experts from the City Lord Mansion. This was a provocation to them. It was a slap to their faces. As the future ruler of Qianshan City, how could young Master Qianshan allow this to happen? Therefore, in his heart he had already sentenced Lin Xian to death. However, at this moment, a young man at the side exclaimed. Isn't that Xiao Ling? Why is that girl with the Hong sect? Could it be that they know each other? It's over. If she's really a friend of the Hong sect, it won't be easy to touch her. After all, the Hong sect is very terrifying. So what? Ordinary people might be afraid of her, but my big brother Qianshan isn't. A young man at the side sneered. He was also from the City Lord Mansion and was young Master Qianshan's younger brother. The young man raised his head and said proudly, my big brother is an outstanding genius of the Yin-Yang sect. He's the future supreme king. No matter how powerful the Hong sect is, Can they be more powerful than the Yin-Yang sect? Young Master Qianshan also smiled. He said indifferently, "Don't worry about them. We can't fight here. After the banquet ends, I'll let them know the consequences of offending the city lord mansion." While the group of people discussed animatedly on the other side, Murong Qingqing was surrounded by many people. Whoosh! Suddenly the crowd dispersed and a young man walked over. It was the Ting family's second young master. He was also followed by a few young masters from big families. As soon as they entered, they pushed away the ordinary kings. The Ting family's second young master's eyes flickered as he looked at Murong Qingqing and the others. When he saw Zhao Zhirua and Xiao Ling his eyes also lit up. Then the corner of his mouth became wider. 3 peerless beauties. It seems like I'm really lucky. However, in the end he still stared at Murong Qingqing. "Fairy, we meet again." The Ting family's second young master smiled. Murong Qingqing looked at him and asked coldly, "Who are you? Don't I know you?" "Ting Kuan, hurry up and leave. You're not welcome here." Xiao Ling also snorted coldly. It was obvious that she also knew the person in front of her. "Oh, isn't this little Princess Ling? I haven't seen her for a few days and she's become more beautiful." Ting Kuan's gaze shifted from Murong Qingqing to Xiao Ling and looked at her without restraint. Xiao Ling's face turned cold when she saw this scene. On the side, Xiao Kuang shouted coldly, "Watch your dog eyes. Do you believe that I'll dig them out for you? Try it." Ting Kuan looked at him and sneered. "The Hong sect is powerful, but do you think the Ting family is afraid of you? Don't forget the status of the Ting family. If you dare to touch me, I guarantee that you'll all die. So, hurry up and get lost. Don't you see that I'm talking to these beauties?" Hearing these arrogant words, Xiao Kuang's face darkened. The surrounding kings felt their scalps go numb, and a trace of fear appeared in their eyes. This was because they knew what kind of existence the Teng family was. This was a big family and it was a very terrifying family. The other party wasn't completely human. It was a very special existence. It was a half-demon family. The Teng family was born from the combination of the human race and the demon race. However, no one dared to underestimate them. This was because the Ting family's ancestor was an invincible king. An invincible king was an existence even more terrifying than a peerless almighty. He was a top-notch expert. Chapter 2303. Therefore, the Ting family had a special status in the Ninli dynasty. Almost no one dared to offend them. Even young Master Qianshan, the son of the governor and the genius of the Yin-Yang sect, had to rope in the 3 young masters of the Ting family. Therefore, although the Hong sect was powerful, the Ting family was not afraid. Seeing that everyone was shocked, Teng Kuan looked at Murong Qingqing again. He grabbed a cup of spirit wine from the servant's tray and handed it to her. "Come on, fairy, I'll treat you to a drink." However, Murong Qingqing did not reach out her hand. Instead, she looked at him coldly. This scene was very awkward, so Teng Kuan's face was a little pale. His eyes shone brightly and his voice was very low. "Beauty, you have to think carefully." Behind him, Teng Kuan's followers sneered. "That's right, Brother Kuan is giving you face by giving you a drink. Do you know that Brother Kuan is on the same level as the prince? It's your fortune to be chosen by Brother Kuan." Numerous voices sounded out, causing Zhao Zhirua and Xiao Ling's little faces to turn icy cold. Among them, Xiao Ling gritted her teeth. "Damn this guy, he's too despicable. I really want to beat him up. Why isn't Brother Long here? If he's here, I'll teach him a lesson." Zhao Zhirua frowned. This guy doesn't know what's good for him. How dare he threaten junior sister Qingqing? He's courting death. She snorted and was about to reveal Murong Qingqing's true identity. What was the Ting family? So what if they were on the same level as the prince? Their identities were not worth mentioning in front of Murong Qingqing. After all, Murong Qingqing was the saintess of the Jade Lake sacred ground, the future master of the Jade Lake. Her identity was on par with the crown prince of the imperial family. Apart from the crown prince, only the saints and saintesses of the other sacred grounds were on par with her. Even an ordinary prince would have a lower status in front of Murong Qingqing. Not to mention the Teng family in front of her. Therefore, she wanted to reveal Murong Qingqing's identity to scare these people to death. However, Murong Qingqing shook her head slightly. She did not intend to reveal her identity this time. If she came here as the Jade Lake Saint, she wouldn't have come alone. She would have brought a large number of people with her. The reason why the sect had asked her to come here secretly was to let her gain more experience. Secondly, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground also hoped to secretly investigate the matter of the nest of 10,000 dragons. Therefore Murong Qingqing stopped her. In the next moment, a smile appeared on her face. Then she reached out with her jade-like hand and caught the wine cup. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned because Murong Qingqing was simply too beautiful when she smiled. Teng Kuan, the Teng family's second young master, was even more proud. If he could obtain such a peerless beauty, he would be incredibly lucky. However, Zhao Zhirua and Xiao Ling were stunned. That's not right. Why did Murong Qingqing agree? While they were in a daze, the situation suddenly changed. Everyone's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. Teng Kuan's face turned incomparably dark in an instant. This was because after Murong Qingqing took the wine cup, she did not drink it. Instead, she waved her jade-like hand and directly splashed all the spirit wine on Teng Kuan's face. She wants to drink with me? She's not qualified. Puff. Teng Kuan's face was splashed with wine, and he was stunned on the spot. At this moment, not only was Teng Kuan stunned, but everyone was stunned. Zhao Zhirua and Xiao Ling were stunned. All the surrounding King Almighties and the lackeys behind them were also stunned. Then they burst into shouts like a torrent and screamed one by one. Those lackeys also shouted, "Fuck brother Kuan, are you alright?" Teng Kuan's face was also gloomy. The aura on his body suddenly erupted like a divine rainbow as he charged towards Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing snorted coldly. Countless rays of light appeared on her body, forming a five-colored lotus flower that instantly blocked the attack. Crack, crack, crack. The void cracked open and the terrifying energy caused many to vomit blood. On the side, Xiao Kuang activated his king domain to protect Xiao Ling'er. Zhao Zhirua's body was also surrounded by light, and a ball of battle armor appeared. It seemed that a great battle was about to break out. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Countless runes lit up in the surroundings, and 8 beautiful women suddenly appeared. The one leading them was the woman in red who invited Lin Xian earlier. As soon as they appeared, they shouted, "Who dares to fight in the Moonflower Castle? Do you want to die?" Hearing this, everyone looked at each other and did not dare to speak. The people in the distance also looked over. Even Yin Ryu and young Master Qianshan stopped talking. Young Master Qianshan looked into the distance and frowned. The surrounding young geniuses were also discussing. Damn, why are they fighting? Someone actually dares to fight with Brother Ting? Does he want to die? When the eldest and third young masters of the Ting family saw this scene, their figures flashed and instantly appeared in front. Second brother. Second brother. The two of them came in front of Teng Kuan. When they saw Teng Kuan's face full of wine, they were both stunned. Then their bodies emitted an extremely terrifying aura. Why do you want to fight? Seeing this, the woman in red's face darkened. No matter who you are, if you dare to fight here, you will be punished by the Moonflower Castle. Speaking of this, the aura on the woman in red suddenly became fierce. Not only that, under her feet, terrifying runes flickered and condensed in the air. A terrifying killing formation spread out. It made everyone's hearts tremble. Young Master Kuan, forget it. At this moment, young Master Qianshan also came. Not only him but Yin Ryu also walked over. The crowd dispersed and a group of dozens of people rushed over. These people were all young geniuses, the young masters of large clans, and were very terrifying. At this moment, everyone was standing here. Of course they were all on Teng Kuan's side. Only Xiao Ling'er and Zhao Zhirua were still standing beside Murong Qingqing. However, Murong Qingqing's expression was indifferent. So what if there were thousands of soldiers and horses? She would not be afraid at all. As the saintess, her strength was unfathomable. Brother Teng, there's no need to fight here. Young Master Qianshan and the others walked over and hurriedly dissuaded him. That was because he was very clear about how terrifying the Moonflower Castle was. Even he did not dare to be presumptuous here. Umph. Hearing this, Teng Kuan snorted coldly and put away his terrifying domain. Immediately, the light that filled the sky disappeared. All the King Almighties heaved a sigh of relief. The 5-colored lotus in front of Murong Qingqing also quickly rushed into her body and disappeared. When the people from the Moonflower Castle saw this scene, they said coldly, "I'll say it again, no fighting is allowed here. If anyone disobeys, kill without mercy. No matter who you are, the Moonflower Castle is not afraid." After saying that, she ignored Teng Kuan and the others and looked at Murong Qingqing instead. Chapter 2304. The lady in red looked at Murong Qingqing and smiled. "Fairy Murong, young Master Lin is chatting with my master and will be back soon. If there's anything, just call me." "Okay, thank you." Murong Qingqing nodded. The lady in red left with her people. The surrounding people were shocked. Heavens, what was the relationship between these people and the Moonflower Shyness Palace? How could they be treated so politely by the Moonflower Shyness Palace? One must know that the Moonflower Shyness Palace didn't even respect such a terrifying family like the Teng family. One could imagine how powerful they were. However, Murong Qingqing received such honorable treatment. This shocked everyone, especially the Teng family's third young master, who frowned. Teng Kuan sneered. I underestimated you. Don't think that you can provoke me just because you have the Moonflower Shyness Palace's support. Just you wait. When the banquet ends and you leave this palace, I'll see who can save you. When the time comes, I'll make you kneel and beg me. After speaking, Teng Kuan snorted and turned to leave. The Teng family's first young master and third young master looked at Murong Qingqing and the others with a sinister smile. Then they left as well. Next, young master Qianshan and the others also left. Junior sister, why didn't you tell them your identity and scare them to death? Let them be arrogant. Zhao Zhirua snorted. She naturally couldn't stand the arrogant attitude of Teng Kuan and the others. So what? Aren't they just an invincible king family? The Jade Lake Sacred Ground had produced a great emperor. They weren't on the same level. However, Murong Qingqing shook her head. No need. I can still fight against them without any identity. Besides, I came out this time to gain experience in the mortal world. Xiaoling Xiao Kuang, and the others didn't know Murong Qingqing's true identity, so they said worriedly. Big sister Murong, come with us later. Otherwise, I'm worried that those guys will attack you. Okay. Murong Qingqing smiled. She didn't take this matter to heart. On the other side, young master Qianshan invited Teng Kuan and the other three young masters of the Teng clan to the side. Damn it, I'm so angry. Teng Kuan gritted his teeth. The other party actually dared to spill wine all over his face. Since he was young, he had never suffered such a loss. This was a slap to his face. The Teng family's third young master scoffed. If it weren't for the fact that we can't fight here, they would have become my second brother's slaves long ago. Also, that kid actually dared to be so arrogant towards us when he was outside. At that time he would deal with him as well. Of course, I want to see his beloved woman being tortured by me with my own eyes. Teng Kuan revealed a hideous smile. However, young master Qianshan reminded them, don't let your guard down. Not long ago that kid killed young master Bai Yun and more than 10 peerless experts of my city lord mansion. It could be said that his strength was terrifying, and he acted without any scruples. What? There was actually such a thing. The Teng family's eldest young master and third young master were also astonished. Teng Kuan also took a deep breath, and a solemn look appeared in his eyes. But soon after he revealed a cold smile. So what? No matter how powerful that kid is, I must kill him today. Also that B***tis, I must let her know how powerful I am. Gentlemen, if you can really get rid of them, I believe the White Cloud Mansion will be very grateful to you. Young Master Qianshan said in a deep voice. Is that so? The others sneered when they heard that. It seems like that kid is definitely going to die. How about this? Send out the 4 Jolly demons. What? You want to use them? The eldest young master was shocked when he heard Teng Kuan's words. At the side, young master Qianshan's eyes lit up. Second brother, aren't you making a mountain out of a molehill? The third young master said. I'm doing this just in case. Teng Kuan took a deep breath. This time I can't let them escape. Therefore I can't allow any mistakes. Besides, that kid is very powerful, and that B***tch was able to block my attack just now. Come to think of it, she must be a genius too. It's not safe to let others do it, let alone the people from the Hong sect. Therefore the 4 Jolly demons will definitely die if we send them out. However, we need the permission of our clan leader to use them. No, we'll use our identities to forcefully control them. After this matter is settled, we'll apologize to our clan leader. Alright, I'll contact the 4 Jolly demons now. The eldest young master of the Teng family also took a deep breath. Since they had already made up their minds, they would not go back on their words. Soon, they hurriedly contacted the clan leader. Fortunately, there were only the 3 young masters of the Teng family and young master Qianshan nearby. Otherwise, the others would definitely scream in fear if they heard that. That was because the 4 Jolly demons were 4 very powerful demon kings of the Jolly dynasty. Among them, the Great Demon and the Second Demon were all peerless mighty figures. Although the 3 demons and the 4 demons were not peerless mighty figures, they were not far from it. They were far more powerful than ordinary top mighty figures. It could be said that the four of them were very terrifying when they joined forces. It would be easy for them to kill a peerless mighty figure. It could be said that they were more than enough to deal with these young people. They could not escape. Even if they were saints or princes, they would not be a match for the four Jili demons in a one-on-one battle. Moreover, how could these people be saints and princes? Therefore they would definitely die. For a moment the few of them sneered. In addition, in the secret chamber, Lin Xian still did not know what was happening outside. At this moment he was drinking tea and chatting with Luo Li. At this moment Lin Xian asked again, "Oh right, do you know anything about the nest of 10,000 dragons? News about the nest of 10,000 dragons?" Luo Li was stunned when he heard that. Then he said, "I know a little." Seeing Lin Xian's expectant gaze, Luo Li hurriedly explained. "According to our intelligence, the beast tide of the Jili dynasty this time is related to the nest of 10,000 dragons. It seems that these demons are preparing for something. It seems that it should be related to the 10,000 dragons' annihilation. Moreover, the demons have a wide range of influence and many people from the human race have dealings with them. Among them, there are half-demon clans and some human clans that have been bribed by them. It seemed that the nest of 10,000 dragons would appear soon. At that time, it was uncertain whether it would be a blessing or a curse. There were humans who were colluding with the demons. Lin Xian was surprised. He did not expect this matter to be so complicated. But then he asked again, "Well, aren't there countless treasures in the nest of 10,000 dragons?" Although that was the case, there was another rumor. That was the nest of 10,000 dragons, the place where dragons were buried. Legend had it that these dragons were not dead but asleep. Chapter 2305. Luali didn't say anything else, but a hint of worry appeared in her eyes. Dragons were legendary existences. If they were to revive, what kind of earth-shaking changes would they bring? In the end, dragons were also a type of monster race. In the end, would the dragons support humans or revive the monster race? It was still an unknown. Therefore it was hard to say whether it was a blessing or a curse. "Brother Xian, didn't you have a dragon by your side?" Hearing this, the dark red dragon stuck its head out of the black earth. "Little girl, why are you looking for me?" Seeing this scene, Luali was shocked, but she quickly recovered. She looked at the dark red dragon and said in a deep voice, "You should know how terrifying dragons are. Although the human race is prosperous now, in ancient times the human race was very weak. At that time the 10,000 races were at their peak. The human race was just one of them. In addition, there were many powerful races and the dragons were one of them. If these terrifying races were to revive, it was unknown whether the human race would be able to resist them." Powerful races? What were they? Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't know these ancient secrets. Luali seemed to know a little. She said that there were many races in the 10,000 ancient races. The most powerful ones, other than the dragons, were the Tianji race, the spirit race, the light race, the Kunpeng race, the Yiksha race, and so on. In short, there were many races and most of them were monster race. Were there really so many 10,000 ancient races? Lin Xian was shocked. Luali nodded. "In the past, there were countless heads in our heavenly court. Among them there were dragons. There were also spirit race and Tianji race. For example, Yiksha, heavenly ant, and so on. The heads of all kinds of strange shapes were all over the ground. Those were the heads of saints. It was said that in hell, there was a wall that was completely piled up with the heads of the terrifying 10,000 ancient races." Hearing this, Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. As expected of the ancient god of killers, the dynasty was indeed terrifying. But soon he frowned. Originally, he wanted to explore the nest of 10,000 dragons because he wanted to obtain the treasures inside. But now, it seemed that it was extremely dangerous inside. But no matter what, he had to give it a try. After all, that was the legendary treasure trove. After chatting for a while, Lin Xian prepared to leave. Because Murong Qingqing and the others were still outside. "Older brother Xian, if you have any difficulties, you can come find me. If you want to kill any experts, you can also come here for a mission. Don't worry, I won't be courteous if it's useful." Lin Xian smiled and left. Looking at Lin Xian's back as he left, Luoli said indifferently, "I really want to be with you. However, there are restrictions in my body. I'm afraid I'll never be able to leave this paradise." On the other side, Lin Xian left the room. There were 4 women waiting outside. They took Lin Xian away from the core area. Soon Lin Xian arrived at the hall below. The outside was still bustling with noise and excitement. However, when Lin Xian came out, all eyes turned to look at him. Their eyes were filled with shock, surprise, and a trace of fear. The crowd automatically made a path for him. At this moment, not only the cultivators in the city, but even the cultivators outside were terrified. What a joke, someone who was related to the Moonflower Palace was definitely not simple. Not everyone was like the Ting family's young master Qianshan, who had such a strong background. Ordinary cultivators did not dare to provoke them. Of course there were also people who sneered and gloated. This was because they knew that this brat was dead meat. Lin Xian killed young master Bai Yun, and Murong Qingqing offended the Ting family's young master. Whether it was the White Cloud Mansion or the Ting family, they were both extremely terrifying. Even if this brat had the protection of the Moonflower Palace, no one would be able to save them once they left this place. Lin Xian ignored these people's gazes and strode over to Murong Qingqing and the others. Lin Xian said, "Sorry for the wait." Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief and smiled. Xiao Ling'er said, "Big brother Lin, why are you only here now? Seriously, you really pissed me off just now. What's wrong?" Lin Xian asked, "Who made Ling'er angry?" It's not me, it's someone who has designs on big sister Qingqing." Xiao Ling'er angrily recounted what had happened. Lin Xian frowned after hearing this. Someone actually dared to have designs on Murong Qingqing when he was not around and even dared to threaten them. He was courting death. A cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. At the side, Zhao Zhiruo reminded him, "Be careful, that person is the young master of the Ting family. The Ting family is an invincible sovereign realm clan and is extremely terrifying. Moreover, they have many allies here. This time you can't act rashly. If you really can't, you can ask the Moonflower Palace to escort you away." To be honest, Zhao Zhiruo was really worried. Moreover, she now knew that not only these people, but there was also an even more terrifying Tai dynasty behind them. Of course, she hoped that Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing could leave this place safely. "Thank you for your concern, senior sister Zhiruo," Lin Xian said. But then he changed the topic and a sharp light appeared in his eyes. "Cultivators of my generation never shrink from a battle. Since the other party dares to find trouble, then I won't be polite either. Let's go, Qingqing, I'll take revenge for you." Lin Xian held Murong Qingqing's small hand. Murong Qingqing smiled faintly, "Okay." She followed Lin Xian and walked forward. Seeing this scene, Xiao Ling'er was incomparably excited. "Great, I can finally take revenge." Previously, she was also very dissatisfied with the Ting family. Xiao Kuang snorted coldly, "If necessary, I will also take action." Because he had long wanted to take action. Zhao Zhiruo sighed, "Forget it, let's not persuade him." The other party even dared to kill the Golden Lion King, let alone the cultivators of the Ting family. I wonder what kind of scene will happen. Thinking of this, she quickened her steps and followed. Whoosh. Seeing Lin Xian and his group walking into the distance, the King Almighties in the surroundings began to discuss among themselves. They immediately opened up a path for them. However, everyone's gaze fell on Lin Xian and the others. Where is this kid going? Is he thinking of leaving? I think it's possible, after all, he provoked the Ting family. He can't afford to offend them. Leaving now is the best way. What a joke, that's not an exit. It seems that he's going to look for the young master of the Ting family. I also think it's possible with his character he won't leave just like that. Don't forget about young master Bai Yun. Many people discussed, and in the next moment they also followed behind Lin Xian. For a moment, the crowd surged forward like a dark cloud. The people in front naturally noticed this scene, so they all turned their heads. Chapter 2306. Ting Kuan, the second young master of the Ting family, naturally saw this and scoffed. A cold light flashed in his eyes. At the same time, he let go of the beauty in his arms and turned around to look behind him. Apart from him, the eldest young master of the Ting family, the third young master of the Ting family, young master Qianshan, and the other young masters of the major clans also came over. These people formed a powerful force. The air instantly condensed, and a terrifying invisible pressure pressed down on Lin Xian's courage. The pressure formed by these people joining forces was terrifying. Sure enough, in an instant, the expressions of all the King Almighties changed, and they retreated one after another. No one could withstand the pressure. In fact, they were worried that Lin Xian would be crushed in an instant. Lin Xian felt the pressure, but he snorted coldly and activated his great dragon sword soul. Buzz! A terrifying dragon's might was released, offsetting the terrifying pressure in front of him. The sound of ice and snow melting could be heard in the sky, and the terrifying pressure disappeared. Seeing this, Ting Kuan's face became even gloomier. Young Master Qianshan also had a grave look in his eyes. Everyone looked at Lin Xian. On the opposite side, a beautiful woman also stared at Lin Xian with flickering eyes. She was Yen Ryu. Lin Xian looked at Yen Ryu, then the corners of his mouth curled up. Long time no see. He did not directly acknowledge the other party but used this method. This way, if the other party was really Zhao Shui, she would definitely understand what he meant. After hearing this, Yen Ryu smiled faintly but did not say anything. Her beautiful eyes became even more profound. Everyone around was stunned. What's going on? Does this fella know Yen Ryu too? Oh God, how's that possible? Who exactly is this? Young Master Qianshan, the Ting family's young master, and the others also frowned. Among them, Teng Kuan even scoffed coldly. Fella, don't pretend to be mysterious. How could you know Fairy Yen? What? Are you here to die? Or are you here to beg for mercy? At this point he sneered. It wasn't just him. The people around him were all looking at Lin Xian with sneers on their faces. Young Master Qianshan waved his fan and stood with his hands behind his back. His eyes were cold. He wanted to see how this kid would deal with today's situation. Brat, you are very arrogant. I originally wanted to look for you, but I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come here. Very well, tell me, how do you want to settle this? If you want to apologize, you have to kneel down and kowtow to me 100 times. Also, give me your woman to play with for 2 days. I can spare your life. Ah. Hearing this, everyone laughed. They wanted to see what the other party would do. Would he really hand over the woman obediently? When Lin Xian heard this, the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Very well, let's do as you say. Now kneel down and kowtow to me 100 times. Also, ask your mother to come over. I'll play with her for 2 days. I can spare your life. What? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. His eyes widened in disbelief. The faces of the Ting family's 3 young masters darkened at once. Damn brat, what did you say? The Ting family's 3rd young master roared ferociously, and a piercing killing intent appeared in his eyes. It was like a demonic sword that instantly pierced through the void. The Ting family's eldest young master and 2nd young master's faces were even gloomier. They were like raging volcanoes that would erupt at any time. The others were also shocked and in disbelief. Lin Xian sneered. What? Am I allowed to insult others? Can't I insult you? Or are you born noble and superior? I said, obediently do as I say and I can spare your life. Otherwise today will be the day you die. You are courting death. Ting Kuan was also furious. No one had ever dared to insult him like this. Today he must kill the other party. How dare you? Presumptuous. How dare you speak to young Master Teng like this? Quickly slap him. Kneel down and kowtow. Otherwise you are dead. The few young men behind Teng Kuan sneered. Their voices were like thunder that resounded in all directions. The others also glared angrily and emitted cold killing intent. However, without exception, no one made a move. This was because this was the Moonflower Castle, and there were rules here that prohibited fighting. Even almighties would be killed if they fought, let alone them. No one dared to break this rule. Young fella, I know you have the support of the Moonflower Castle, so you dare to be so unscrupulous. Teng Kuan said coldly, his eyes burning with anger. A layer of terrifying flames appeared on his body. So what? You can't stay here forever. As long as you dare to take a step out of here, I can guarantee that you will end up very miserably. I will torture you for the rest of your life and you will beg for death. This is the consequence of provoking me. The Ting family's eldest young master and 3rd young master also snorted coldly. The killing intent in their eyes was not concealed at all. After Lin Xian heard this, he sneered in disdain. What? You only dare to threaten and don't dare to make a move? Looks like you are really useless. How dare you be arrogant like this? What a joke. Lin Xian sneered in disdain. After hearing this, Teng Kuan snorted coldly. Young fella, don't play tricks. We all know the rules here. I won't give you a chance and I won't let the Moonflower Castle make a move either. Just wait, the banquet will end soon and your death will come. Damn it, this guy actually didn't fall for it. Xiao Ling waved her fist angrily, and at the side, Zhao Zhirua also had a solemn expression. Lin Xian sneered. What? Do you think I said those words to make you make a move and break the rules? Do you think I dared to come here because of the Moonflower Castle? Of course. If it wasn't for the Moonflower Castle, you would be a dead man by now. Do you think you can still stand? The Ting family's 3rd young master shouted coldly, and the Ting family's eldest young master also snorted coldly. The surrounding young geniuses all sneered. Lin Xian smiled. Looks like young Master Bai Yun's matter didn't teach you a deep enough lesson. Since that's the case, I don't mind making a move and teaching you a lesson. What? He was going to make a move. Everyone in the surroundings was shocked, and young Master Qian San also frowned. Yen Ryu's beautiful eyes flickered and she looked very expectant. On the other side, Xiao Ling Zhao Zhirua and the others were a little worried. Although they knew that Lin Xian had a special relationship with the people of the Moonflower Castle, they were afraid that he couldn't break the rules so obviously. After all, if this rule was broken, the prestige of the Moonflower Castle would also weaken a lot in the future. The Teng family naturally also understood this logic. Therefore they sneered in disdain. Young fella, you still dare to make a move? Who do you think you are? You think you can break the rules here just because you have a little relationship? They snorted in disdain and didn't believe it at all. The few young men behind Teng Kuan were even more arrogant. They stood out from the crowd, came in front of Lin Xian and said arrogantly. Chapter 2307. They stood out from the crowd, came in front of Lin Xian and said arrogantly. Come, come, come. I'm standing here. Try touching me. Teng Kuan, young Master Qian Shan, and the others had cold gazes. They were also looking forward to it. As long as the other party attacked, they would have an excuse. Even the people from the Moonflower Palace had no choice but to come out and punish Lin Xian. Because this was the rule, a rule that could not be broken. I've seen people run fast when snatching treasures. But this is the first time I've seen people in a hurry to die. Since you guys are in such a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish. With that said, Lin Xian waved his palm. Slap, slap, slap. A crisp slap sounded, shaking the void. The tens of millions of cultivators in the distance all heard it. In the next moment they were shocked. They were in an uproar. Their eyes widened in disbelief. Because in front of them, 3 arrogant youths were slapped and directly slapped to the ground. The ground trembled as if an earthquake had happened. And their faces were completely deformed. Their teeth were broken all over the ground and blood splattered everywhere. What? He attacked. He really attacked. How dare he? Is he going to break the rules of the Moonflower Palace? Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air as they stared ahead in disbelief. One had to know that in the past, when a peerless mighty figure attacked here, he was mercilessly killed. Although the kid in front of them had some relationship with the Moonflower Palace, in order to maintain their dignity, the Moonflower Palace absolutely did not allow anyone to attack here. In their opinion, this kid was too daring. He's dead meat. You? The 3 young geniuses were slapped to the ground and they were very angry. They roared crazily and struggled. A terrifying light surged from their bodies. They wanted to attack. How could they endure being slapped in public? But in the next moment, Lin Xian's cold voice sounded. Why you dare to attack? Then try it. Boss. Hearing this, the 3 geniuses' attack stopped in midair. The light on their bodies also dimmed. Indeed, they did not dare to attack. Although the other party had broken the rules, it did not mean that they could break the rules. They did not dare to offend the Moonflower Palace. Ping ping ping. Just as the 3 of them were hesitating, Lin Xian lifted his leg and kicked the 3 of them. The 3 of them felt as if they were struck by lightning, as if 3 mountains were pressing down on them. Countless bones in their bodies were broken, and they were sent flying. Everywhere they passed, the void shattered. 3 screams were heard as the 3 of them crashed into Liang Kuan and the others. The 3 of them were caught by countless warriors. However, they discovered that the 3 of them were severely injured. Their eyes were filled with fear. What? This brat was too arrogant. He actually dared to act so brazenly in the Moonflower Castle. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Zhao Zhirua and the others gasped. Young Master Qian Shan, Teng Kuan, and the others had gloomy looks in their eyes. However, at this moment, Teng Kuan sneered. Originally, I wanted to do it myself. But now it seems that I don't need to do it. You've broken the rules here, so you'll definitely die. Liang Kuan looked at Lin Xian with a cold gaze that was as sharp as a blade. Too stupid. Young Master Qian Shan shook his head with disdain. The young geniuses behind them sneered. The eldest and 3rd young masters of the Teng family also sneered in disdain. Idiot, let's see how you'll die later. Yen Ryu's beautiful eyes flickered and were extremely deep. She looked at Lin Xian with an inexplicable aura in her eyes. Is that so? Do you think you can predict everything? Hearing the other party's words, Lin Xian smiled. All right, let's see if I'm the one who will be killed today or you. As he said that, he took a step forward and grabbed at the front again. His palm transformed into a terrifying golden lion that pounced forward. Fearless Lion Seal. Under the effect of Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul, the great ability of the war tribe was displayed to perfection. Light flickered in the sky and terrifying energy surged. A golden lion descended from the sky like a golden Buddha that could suppress everything. That power made even the mighty figures tremble in fear. You're courting death. Seeing this, Teng Kuan roared angrily, and his eyes were filled with anger. His opponent actually dared to attack him. He really could not tolerate it. In the end, he did not make a move and instantly disappeared on the spot. Boom. The golden lion pounced down with its claw, tearing the void apart and creating a large black crack. Nevertheless, it did not hurt Teng Kuan. However, the terrifying energy shockwave caused many martial artists behind Teng Kuan to vomit blood. Young Master Qian Shan, the eldest and third young masters of the Teng family, were also affected. But they quickly defended, and a bright light screen lit up in front of them, blocking the energy shockwave. What kind of ability is that? It's too terrifying. Sensing the power of the golden lion, everyone's expression changed. Young Master Qian Shan and the eldest young master of the Teng family also had gloomy expressions. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful. In the void, Teng Kuan's figure also appeared. Brat, you've completely angered me. Later, I'll definitely torture you to death. Torture my ass. I've long disliked you. At this moment, the dark red divine dragon also came out of the black earth. It landed beside Lin Xian, waved its dragon claws, pointed at the void above and said ferociously, "Damn it, come over here if you dare. I'll roast you and eat you." To be honest, he was really angry. The other party is only an ordinary prodigy. How dare he be arrogant in front of me? How dare he threaten to kill me again and again? How could the dark red divine dragon tolerate that? Therefore, at this moment he naturally had to counterattack. Where did this snake come from? How dare it be so presumptuous here? Teng Kuan's face was gloomy. Being threatened by a snake was like a slap to his face. Therefore, in the next moment, a terrifying pressure rose from his body. Although he could not attack, using his pressure to kill the other party should not be against the rules here. Boom, boom, boom. The invisible pressure enveloped the dark red divine dragon. Even an ordinary mighty figure would not be able to withstand it. However, the dark red divine dragon sneered in disdain. He was a dragon, and the pressure of a dragon was even more terrifying than that of a peerless mighty figure. How dare he compete with me in terms of pressure? What an idiot. Therefore, in the next moment he snorted coldly, and his body also emitted a terrifying dragon pressure. Boom, boom, boom. The other party's pressure instantly shattered. Not only that, the terrifying dragon pressure directly surged towards Teng Kuan. And Teng Kuan left his original spot and appeared in another direction. However, his complexion turned incomparably ugly. How dare you attack me? Teng Kuan gritted his teeth. Since when did a snake dare to be rude to me? The dark red divine dragon snorted coldly. So what if I attack you? I still want to test you. Besides, you're the fucking snake. I'm a dragon. Do you know? Dragon. Hearing this, everyone frowned. They were extremely puzzled because the pressure that the other party emitted earlier was too terrifying. Chapter 2308. However, they did not think that the other party was a real dragon. After all, no one had seen a real dragon. In their opinion, the other party might be a horned dragons that had the bloodline of dragons or some other rare species. But even so, it was still shocking enough. Teng Kuan's face was also gloomy. He sneered. A horned dragon? Alright. I'll roast you and have a taste of what a horned dragon tastes like. What? You want to eat me? The dark red divine dragon was furious. I'll spit all over your face. As it said that, it opened its mouth and spat in front of it. The saliva that filled the sky turned into a Milky Way and swept forward. It was terrifying as it covered the entire sky. Teng Kuan did not have anywhere to flash this time, so he was sprayed all over his face and clothes. The saliva was extremely smelly and had a very strange smell. Teng Kuan's face immediately darkened like the bottom of a pot. Below, Xiao Ling'er and the others laughed because the scene was too comical. Many people in the crowd could not help but laugh. However, soon they could not laugh anymore. This was because Teng Kuan's body was emitting an incomparably terrifying killing intent that pierced through the void like a god of death. Black holes appeared in the sky one after another. It was terrifying as if the world was about to be destroyed. This aura made the scalps of tens of millions of martial artists go numb. Damn reptile, you're courting death. Ting Kuan was furious. Why? You're not convinced? You're unhappy? Go ahead. I'll slap you to death with one slap. The dark red divine dragon was very arrogant, like an old monster that had no scruples. Lin Xian also sneered. Great, there are some things that I can't say, so I can let the dark red divine dragon do it. This time I'll probably be angered to death. Look at how skinny you are. You probably won't have much meat even if I beat you up. How about this, you'll be my pet? The dark red divine dragon waved its dragon claws. Be my human pet and serve me well. If you serve me well, I can teach you one or two great abilities of dragons. Hearing this, Ting Kuan was so angry that he vomited blood. Not only him, but the eldest and third young masters of the Ting family were also furious. The third young master was relatively young, only 18 or 19 years old. He was young and full of vigor, so how could he endure such humiliation? Therefore, in the next moment he roared, "Damn it, I'll definitely kill you." He really couldn't hold it in anymore. The energy in his body suddenly erupted like a volcano, sweeping out in all directions. The entire sky was like a piece of cloth, rustling as cracks appeared in countless places. As soon as this terrifying aura appeared, everyone's expression changed. That was because this power had actually reached the almighty realm. This was simply too shocking. It was worth noting that the Ting family's third young master was only 18 or 19 years old. Despite being so young, he could unleash the power of an almighty being. It was indeed shocking. He could be said to be a young genius. Not good. However, the expressions of Ting Kuan, young master Qian Shan, and the others changed. Although the Ting family's third young master was formidable, he might not be able to resist his opponent. They wanted to save him. However, in the next moment they were stunned. Another resplendent slap rang out between the heavens and the earth. Then a figure was sent flying, smashing through the void. At this moment, everyone was drooling. This was because the domineering and peerless God-favored third young master of the Ting family was sent flying backward, and his teeth were broken all over the ground. His entire face was deformed. His body floated into the distance like a kite with a broken string. On the other hand, Lin Xian slowly put down his hand with a hint of disdain in his eyes. Shocked, extremely shocked. At this moment, the tens of millions of martial artists seemed to have been petrified. They realized that Lin Xian was too valiant. His speed and power were so fast that they could not capture him at all. Even many of the older generation figures were extremely shocked. On the other hand, the Ting family's eldest young master and Ting Kuan roared angrily. Their bodies swayed and they instantly appeared in the distance. They helped the third young master up. Third young master's entire face was deformed, and his teeth were all broken. Blood dyed his clothes red. Ah! The third young master roared angrily, and his body emitted a dazzling light. Next, his deformed face returned to normal, and the teeth that had fallen out grew out again. I'll kill you. I'll definitely kill you. The third young master roared crazily like a wild beast. He had never suffered such a loss before. He was sent flying with a single slap in front of so many people. If he did not take revenge, how could he live in the future? Third younger brother? Don't be impulsive. The Ting family's eldest young master held the third young master down. It was very disadvantageous for them to make a move in this situation. They had to endure it. Everything would be easy once they left the Moonflower Castle. Big brother, second brother, don't worry about me. I'll definitely kill him. At this moment, the Ting family's third young master had a crazed look on his face. His eyes were red and boundless flames appeared on his body, burning fiercely. At this moment he was like a wild dog. Brat, you forced me to do this. Today I'll definitely kill you. The Ting family's third young master quickly formed a seal with his hands. Dense blood-red vein patterns appeared on his body, and a violent power instantly surged out. As soon as this power was released, the surrounding space instantly shattered. It could not withstand it at all. So powerful. His strength had doubled. This must be the Ting family's secret technique. Everyone was shocked. This secret technique is too powerful. Sure enough, under this energy shock wave, everyone's faces turned pale, and they frantically retreated. In fact, there was even a vacuum in the field. In the field, Lin Xian and the others were the only ones who stood calmly. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing were peerless God-favored ones, so they were not afraid of the terrifying energy shock wave at all. Their bodies emitted a misty light screen which blocked all the shock waves. Whoosh! Brat, I'll kill you. The Ting family's third young master roared furiously. He stomped his foot and broke the void as he charged over. He was as fast as lightning. He even pulled out a blood-red longsword. As soon as the sword was drawn, a sea of blood spread in the surroundings. Countless vengeful spirits appeared in the space as if they had turned into hell. The evil blood sword. This was a top-notch treasure sword. It was the Ting family's famous treasure sword. They did not expect it to be in the hands of the Ting family's third young master. Many people exclaimed. It was obvious that they had also heard of this sword's reputation. When the long sword was swung, a blood-red sword chi appeared in the sky and slashed downward. In an instant it enveloped Lin Xian. But, upon seeing this, Lin Xian scoffed. He swayed his feet and disappeared on the spot. Whoosh! He appeared in the void above the Ting family's third young master. What? So fast? The Ting family's third young master's scalp went numb. He did not expect his opponent to be faster than before. He could not believe it. After all, now that he had used a secret technique, his strength had doubled and his speed had doubled as well. Even so, he could not keep up with his opponent's speed. Chapter 2309. Soon he screamed in agony. This was because a foot had stepped on his back. The force directly broke his entire back. Countless muscles collapsed and his bones were broken. Blood spurted out and a huge force hit his body. Damn it! Block it! After the Ting family's third young master was enraged, a set of fiery red armor instantly appeared on his body. At the same time, countless red flames burned on the armor and turned into fire dragons that wrapped around Lin Xian, trying to burn him. Boom! However, everything was useless. The Ting family's third young master screamed in agony. The armor on his body shattered, and the sea of fire in the sky disappeared. Under this foot, he was like an ant without any ability to resist. Boom! He landed on the ground and there was a shocking vibration. Countless runes lit up on the ground, forming a terrifying defensive formation. Otherwise, this attack could definitely penetrate the ground and create a 10,000-meter deep abyss. The Ting family's third young master screamed crazily. The foot was still on his body, making him unable to move at all. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels were all impacted. Seeing this, everyone was shocked and dumbstruck. The Teng family's eldest young master and Teng Kuan roared, "Damn it, let go of my third younger brother." They were both shocked and furious. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful that he could instantly injure their third younger brother. The other party actually dared to be so heavy-handed. This was unbearable for them. You want to save him? Sure, kneel down and kowtow to me 10 times and I'll spare his life. You're courting death. The eldest young master and Teng Kuan's faces darkened. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. You only have one chance. Since you missed it, don't blame me. As he spoke, he exerted force with his foot, and an unparalleled force surged out, instantly crushing the Teng family's third young master's body. Boom! Countless blood mists filled the air and sprayed in all directions. The ground was instantly dyed red, and all the King Almighties in the surroundings were stunned. They could not believe it. What did this fella do? He actually killed the Teng family's third young master. Oh God, is he not afraid of the Teng family's revenge? Everyone went crazy. Because this scene was too shocking, they didn't dare to believe it. One had to know that fighting was not allowed in the Moonflower Palace. Lin Xian actually dared to fight here without any scruples. More importantly, he killed the Teng family's third young master. The Teng family was an invincible king clan. It was extremely terrifying. The third young master of the Teng clan had a noble status, and almost no one dared to provoke them. In the past, a few top-notch mighty figures had set their eyes on the Teng family's third young master's treasure and wanted to secretly snatch it, but they were directly killed by the Teng family's peerless powerhouses. Not only that, but they also directly destroyed the sects of these 3 top almighties, causing a huge commotion. At that time, this matter caused a stir in the Ninely dynasty. Everyone knew about it. Therefore, from then on, almost nobody dared to offend the Teng family. Now, someone actually killed someone from the Teng family. He even killed the Teng family's third young master. Wasn't this poking a hole in the sky? They dared not imagine how the Teng family would react once they found out about this. Most importantly, the other 2 young masters of the Teng family were also present. Damn brat, I'm going to kill you. The Teng family's eldest young master and Teng Kuan were furious. They roared crazily. Young Master Qianshan and the others were also stunned. They did not expect that the other party would really dare to make a move. Boom! The Teng family's eldest young master roared, and his body emitted a terrifying light. His eyes pierced through the void and fixed on Lin Xian. In the next moment, a blue long saber appeared in his hand and he slashed down. Boom. On the other side, multicolored light filled the sky, and Teng Kuan's black hair danced wildly like a demon god. A black long spear appeared in his hand, and he directly stabbed forward. The sky instantly shattered. The two young geniuses of the Ting family finally could not hold it in anymore. They finally made a move. Boom boom boom. The void was instantly shattered, and terrifying energy instantly engulfed Lin Xian. The tens of millions of martial artists in the surroundings retreated frantically. They did not dare to imagine that someone would dare to ignore the rules of the Moonflower Castle and make a move here. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the Moonflower Castle did not stop them this time. What are they trying to do? Could it be because of Lin Xian? These people did not know that their attention had long been attracted by the battle in front of them. Looking at the two terrifying attacks, the faces of Xiao Linger, Zhao Zhirua, and the others changed. Lin Xian on the other hand sneered. Buzz. He directly pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword and slashed forward. Boom. In the sky, a sword light directly slashed out. Clang. In the next moment, the green long saber was broken into two. Not only that, but the eldest young master of the Ting family also vomited blood and retreated with a face full of shock. Buzz. The ancient dragon abyss sword was swung again and collided with the black long spear. The sound of metal colliding was like thunder that spread in all directions. Everyone's scalp went numb. Teng Kuan's pupils suddenly shrank. He felt a huge force coming from the long spear. It shook his arm until it went numb and the chi and blood in his body surged. Damn it! How can the opponent be so strong? He roared and wanted to counterattack again. However, something happened that shocked him. His black long spear, a top-grade treasure weapon, was instantly broken into two. Boom. The terrifying force blasted on his body, and he kept vomiting blood. What? Everyone was stunned. In an instant, two top-grade treasures were broken, and two young geniuses were injured. Oh God, what kind of strength is this? They could not believe it. At this moment, everyone looked at Lin Xian and felt their scalps go numb. Even young Master Qinshan's face became gloomy. Yen Ryu's lips curled into a beautiful smile that was full of mystery. Damn brat, you're going too far. The eldest young master of the Teng family and Teng Kuan roared crazily. They stopped in their tracks, looking extremely disheveled. Nevertheless, they looked at each other and attacked again. This time they took out two high-grade treasures. Not only that, but they also unleashed the power in their bodies to the extreme. Their bodies emitted a biting cold light like a sun. Boom. The eldest young master of the Ting family had a huge golden cauldron above his head. Thousands of golden auras hung down and imprisoned the entire sky. The golden cauldron was like an immemorial divine mountain that pressed down fiercely. The void shattered in an instant and terrifying cracks spread toward Lin Xian. On the other side, Teng Kuan pulled out a long sword. The sword chi danced and formed divine rings that shone in the air. Chapter 23:10. When he swung his sword, heaven and earth trembled. Everyone in the main hall was terrified. They realized that their bodies were stiff, and the blood and power in their bodies seemed to be frozen. Moreover, the dazzling sword light in the sky made their bodies hurt as if they were being split apart. Boom. The ancient sword swept out and split the golden cauldron in half. The green long sword was also broken into pieces. The Teng family's eldest young master and Teng Kuan vomited blood and were sent flying again. However, this time Lin Xian did not let them go. He swayed his body and arrived in front of them in an instant like a fiend god. At the same time he slapped with his palm. With a crack, the Teng family's eldest young master was enveloped by the palm. Ah! The Teng family's eldest young master roared crazily, and a terrifying light surged from his body. A golden armor appeared. On top of that, a pagoda rushed out from his body and protected him. Boom. Even so, it did not seem to be of much use. The pagoda's illusory image was smashed into pieces, and the armor on his body was also broken. Nevertheless, he took this opportunity to move his body horizontally. The terrifying palm wind swept across half of his body, causing his arm to be directly broken. Boom. The Teng family's eldest young master crashed into a pillar in the distance, causing the void to shake. Then he fell to the ground and vomited blood. On the other side, Lin Xian swept out his right leg like a coiling dragon and aimed for Teng Kuan. Damn it, get lost. Teng Kuan threw away the broken sword in his hand and shouted as he punched with both fists. His terrifying fists were like mountains as they emitted a dazzling light. Boom. Next he collided with the coiling dragon leg. With a bang, heaven and earth trembled. Teng Kuan screamed in pain as his arms were broken and he was sent flying. In an instant the two of them were severely injured. They trembled and their hair was disheveled. Everyone around them was stunned. None of the tens of millions of martial artists said a word. The scene was silent. Even the young masters and peerless geniuses from the major clans gasped. Is he really just a young man? Why do I feel that the gap between us is so huge? We, the geniuses, are like ants in his hands that can be easily crushed. I'm afraid that even the princes and saints of the sacred grounds can't do this. What, do you still want revenge? Lin Xian looked into the distance with a hint of disdain. The Teng family's eldest young master and Teng Kuan were so angry that they vomited blood. They were about to explode. But this time they didn't dare to make a move. The other party was too strange. His strength far surpassed theirs, especially the treasured sword in his hand, which was incomparably sharp. Even a top-grade treasure artifact could be split apart. They truly did not have the confidence to continue fighting with him. He was terrified. The young master of the Teng family was terrified. No one dared to believe it. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it even if they were beaten to death. What a piece of trash. Seeing that the two of them did not dare to fight, Lin Xian snorted in disdain. Then he looked around. Soon he spotted young Master Chen Shan and the others. There were about a dozen of them, all of whom were young geniuses. They were all in cahoots with the Teng family. Previously, when Lin Xian had come over, these people had mocked him and even threatened him. Now it was time to return the favor. Lin Xian stared at the three young men. The three of you were very arrogant before. Didn't you say that you wanted me to kneel and accept my death? Now say that again? Lin Xian looked ahead. The three young men trembled and deep fear appeared in their eyes. What's wrong? You don't dare to say it now? A bunch of good-for-nothings. Lin Xian snorted in disdain. But do you think I'll let you go just because you don't dare to say it? Now do as you said. Kneel down and apologize to me and I'll let you go. Otherwise you'll end up like those good-for-nothings from the Teng family. Lin Xian's cold voice spread in all directions. Everyone's scalps went numb when they heard it. In the distance, the Teng family's eldest young master and Teng Kuan, who were struggling to stand up, spat out large mouthfuls of blood. They were so angry that they almost fainted. The three young men who were being stared at turned pale. They regretted it very much. Why did they have to speak so arrogantly and stand up for themselves? Now that they were targeted by this devil, even if they did not die, they would lose a layer of skin. However, it was impossible for them to kneel in public. They could not afford to lose face and neither could their clans. Among them, one of the young men gritted his teeth and roared, "Damn brat, don't be too arrogant. You're strong, but don't forget that we're all young masters from big clans. Do you think you can fight against our clans?" That's right. The young man next to him also roared, "If you know what's good for you, leave quickly. Otherwise you'll be dead when our clans arrive. Using our clans to threaten me? Do you think I'll be afraid?" Lin Xian sneered in disdain. Then, his body swayed and he instantly arrived in front of the three young men. He raised his palm, which turned into the hand of a green dragon, and slapped down fiercely. Bang, bang, bang. The palm evolved in the sky and instantly enveloped the three young men. In an instant, a terrifying force slapped the three young men's faces, and they fell to the ground. Bang. A light flashed and a terrifying airflow swept in all directions, causing the surrounding martial artists to retreat frantically. On the other hand, the three young men fell to the ground and kept twitching. "I'm going to kill you." The first young man stood up from the back, and a bright light erupted from his body. "Damn it, you've gone too far." The second young man also had a ferocious face. His eyes were bloodshot like a wild beast, and his body emitted a terrifying killing intent. Everyone join forces and kill him. I don't believe that he can fight against all of us alone. The third young man roared angrily. He wanted to call for everyone to attack together and kill the powerful enemy in front of him. "All right, let's see who dares to attack." Lin Xian sneered. He took a step forward and a terrifying aura surged from his body. Countless sword chi surrounded him, making him look like a god of death. However, there were still people who could not help but want to attack. In particular, the eldest young master of the Teng family and Teng Kuan at the back were secretly surging, ready to attack at any time. A chaotic battle was about to break out. However, at this moment, young Master Chen Shan shouted coldly, "Stop! Everyone stop!" Seeing young Master Qianshan appear, those people stopped and looked over. Young Master Qianshan said, "Everyone, please don't be impulsive. The rules of the Moonflower Castle are not so easy to break. Besides, there's no need for us to take this risk and show off for a while. Once we leave this place, everything will be different." There was a hint of reminder in his words. Therefore, after the surrounding geniuses heard this, they nodded slightly. Indeed, the devil in front of them was very terrifying. If they made a move, they might be killed. After all, the Ting family's third young master was killed by the other party, and the other party had no scruples. If they were killed, they would probably die in vain. If they left this place, they could gather the powerhouses of their clans. If it really did not work, they could also make a move without restraint. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.